So, I have a quick question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
If you had to choose between Fast or Furious, what would you choose?
Fast.
Fast? Damn.
But
It's the
Nathan,
wrong choice.
would you rather choose um
Family?
family or found family?
What's the difference?
There isn't. We all family.
We're all family.
Yeah, so force Nathan to watch the Fast and the Furious 9 trailer right before this
Yeah.
because there is some questionable things.
You're always talking about family, but I'm your literal family, and you know what? I'm
And we
gonna fuck
haven't
up
used-
all your family.
I'm your literal family, and we've never spoken about or heard about me until now, 9 movies in.
Could you not, like, could you imagine knowing Dom for, like, fucking 2 decades at this point, and
Yeah.
you not knowing he has a brother?
Imagine if you were fucking Brian, like
Yeah.
his actual like brother-in-law,
Yeah.
because he's like married to his sister, and then they're like, because there's rumors that Brian's the guy Paul Walker's younger brother is going to show up to play him in this movie.
Oh, I don't see that. That seems a little...
It's like as like a kid, like not like as a full character sort of thing, but just like showing up. But like imagine you're like, you're married into this family. You have 2 kids with like the sister in the family, and like you just find out 10 years into marriage that like you have another brother-in-law that she never told you about.
Oh, yeah. But, like, somehow Michelle Rodriguez knows.
Well, yeah, because she was she's the childhood friend.
Oh.
She,
and then
like,
so
she
she's
lived-
also never mentioned.
Yes.
That's
She
funny.
hasn't. Michelle Rodriguez is the only one who was around from the beginning because Vince is dead. That he dies in 5. Fuck, what's his name? Jesse, the autistic kid from the first movie. He dies in the first movie, and Leon just leaves. Don't know why.
Wait. Yeah, and Paul Walker's gone, and he was in the first movie.
Yeah, Paul Walker's retired, but he wasn't like a friend. He like joined up with them like when they were in their 20s.
Right.
But the rest of these people like knew each other since they were kids.
So Tyrese, I thought the implication was that Tyrese was in the first movie and then shows up again in Too Fast, Too Furious.
No.
Oh, no.
Too Fast, Too Furious is almost a standalone movie.
Okay. Because I know that was like Paul Walker again.
That is Paul
but he's the
Walker's
main
childhood
character.
friend, and they were like raised in Miami together, and like they used to steal cars. But then Paul Walker decided, hey, I'm a car thief and street racer. I'm gonna go be a cop,
Okay.
and then become a super cop and join the FBI.
I love that for him.
Yeah,
Um.
yeah. But you know what else, Nathan? I gotta give you another 2 options.
Yeah.
Would you like to forever have ways of preserving art and media? Or would you like to be fined and sent to jail?
Now that's a good question. I would like to have ways to preserve lost media. Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, too bad. You don't actually get to choose between the two, because if you try and preserve lost media, we're sending you to jail.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you're talking about the guy with the fucking busted ass take about emulation on Twitter.
Yes. Some guy on April 14th tweeted out saying, with a picture of SpongeBob holding a big sign, and says, people who emulate games should be fined or sent to jail for theft. Emulation is illegal and hurts the industry. I pay for my games, so should you. It's only fail.
It's only
Fair. Yeah.
It's only fair.
It's only fair. I got French for a second. Yeah, so the every single fucking comment, like, reply to the thread is just like, you're an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Except,
at this point, is it bait?
Someone
Like, do you
else
think it
showed
was
up.
bait?
No, I
No?
went through this. Then someone else shows up where this guy posted his, like, here's my GameCube games folder for Dolphin. And another
Yeah.
person who is, I guess they're like Twitter mutuals, went through, and if they saw that you were a Smash player, would just call you a pedophile. You know, pulling at some you shit.
Yeah. But I do
But-
that as a bit.
Yeah. where she was like going like haha pedophile, and it's like sorry, I like an old game that just so happens to have a bad scene around it. I like Fast and the Furious. It doesn't mean I like hitting my girlfriends.
No, but I think that's funny.
It's funny to do to your friends, but if you honestly went to like a Smash
if I went up
tournament,
to a stranger, that'd be not chill.
Yeah, like if we if like me and Chris were like, oh, we're gonna go to like a Melee tournament or some shit to like just lose instantly because we don't play Melee.
Yeah.
And then you came
if I
like,
could
just
make
to
it
check
so
it
that
out,
you were if I could make it so that you were wearing Google glasses during it, so that it would pop up while you were playing Melee, but only for you, so that other people didn't have to be bothered by it, I would engineer that situation.
Yeah, but so this fucking idiot. And then there's a bunch of people going like, I feel like playing Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Let me go support the industry by buying it on eBay, and like they're all like $4,500.
Yeah, the thing is emulation shouldn't be the thing that we're doing because it is technically stealing. But as we are, it is the most accurate way to give access to, our historic pieces of media. And a remaster isn't preservation, right? It's a slopping new paint on it, right? Which isn't always going to make it the same game. And if you want to play the same game accurately, good emulation is what you do.
Yeah. No, I think emulation is perfectly fine. I think emulating something like, you know how fucking while the Wii U was still out, they put out like a Wii U emulator. Not cool. Yeah. It still exists. That I could see actually hurting the industry. But shit, like, where am I gonna get Wii games now?
Yeah.
Where, like, from Nintendo? No, Nintendo doesn't sell them. They don't even have a storefront to buy them. Like, no digital or nothing. Or fucking in more recent news, a Vita.
Yeah.
Where am I going to play, like, Persona 3 The Answer? I think that's the Vita one, right?
No, there is no...
Or it's Persona 3 Portable.
Yeah, P3 Portable is the easiest way to play that, is either on a PSP emulator or on a Vita.
Yeah.
If the store's gone...
Yeah. We've said this 1,000 times on the show, I'm pretty sure, where, like, once the company no longer offers the thing you're trying to buy, like, from them, I think it's morally fine to just steal it from, like, the internet.
Or like abandonware, right? Like, my abandonware.net, I believe, is the name of a website that has a lot of abandoned PC software. And, like, there's nowhere else to really get that stuff. And one of the coolest things on the planet is the best, like, if you want to play, like, a modded version of Silent Hill 2, you download the busted-ass broken PC version, and then download the giant mod kit for it to make it the enhanced edition, and it's the best version of that game.
Yeah. There's this guy on 4chan who made, like, a satirical green text about how, like, people like Nintendo talk about game piracy, where it's like, pirate game, company loses $60, delete game, company receives back $60, pirate game 1 million times, company loses $60 million and declares bankruptcy, buy company for a few dollars and become CEO, delete all the pirated copies, $60 million deposited in my account, suddenly CEO of my own game company with millions to make my dream game.
Yeah.
It's like, if someone's actually pirating a game, they were never going to buy the game in the first place.
Yeah, that's one of the things that, like, we know about piracy. And while I'm not necessarily going to endorse piracy in general, especially if something when you, like, can buy it, because, if it's a brand new product or whatever, like, I'm not saying people should never pirate or whatever, or that it's ethically wrong. But if it's a brand new product, I don't know, man. Like, you're not entitled to that entertainment piece that a bunch of people have worked a bunch on.
Yeah.
But when it's an emulated old game, like, where there's no real way to buy it to give those people money unless you have, like, a ton of cash, then I don't think there's anything wrong with emulating.
Yeah. There's some fucking idiot I just found in the...
It sucks when you have to deal with a game that, like, does not work well with emulators.
Yeah, so I found this guy here who just said, bro, piracy Twitter is the weirdest community. I swear they say it's always morally correct, and if they didn't want me to steal from them, they wouldn't have made it so expensive. And some dudes that like puts like Funky Kong saying legality and morality are not the same thing. And then like it's literally theft, and dude just shows up with like the take of, if I emulate Fire Emblem Binding Blade, who am I stealing from? And just kind of points out like the only way to get that game legally, according to these dumbasses, is to go pay some other guy like $800 for a GameCube copy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care of the reseller market. It's a bullshit market.
Yeah, like, I'm not saying nobody should buy, like, again, if you're a collector, if you're somebody who has a collection, like, of course you're gonna want to have multiple consoles and like original copies, and that's what that market's for, right? But if I just want to fucking play a game, then like I'm gonna fucking emulate it, dude. Like, or what if you want to play fucking Mother 3 here? The only way to play that is to emulate it. What are you gonna do? Actually, you know what? I did do a different kind of crime, which is go on eBay and buy a reproduction Game Boy Advanced cartridge of Mother 3 with the fan translation patched onto it. But that's just as criminal. I have that. I have no idea where it is, which makes me pissed off because it's a cool thing to have.
And also, we wouldn't have the most recent gaming masterpiece, Undertale, if it wasn't for mother hacks.
You're right. Yeah. It's
because Toby Fox straight up said that Earthbound was, ROM hacks. So...
yeah, he made a Earthbound. The first game he ever made was a Earthbound ROM hack, and that Undertale is probably one of the most important games of the last 10 years.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
What do you mean? I think that game's great. I think it has a rough fan base, probably because it's.
I think
probably due to its connection with Homestuck. Another thing that I think is pretty good with a rough fan base.
It's fucking Eyepatch Wolf. The video that was one of his most recent finest videos. His like Undertale community one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But it's a bad place.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I think it's like anything that's going to appeal to like a broad audience.
Yeah.
It's gonna fucking be annoying.
Yeah.
Look at all the lamos who talk about Marvel. Like us, the Media Hole Podcast. This is a weekly podcast that talks about nerd culture. I know, I hate it. That's why I say it, is I'm like, I hate nerd culture shit. But we do it, and that's because we're hypocrites.
I'm very much into it, but God, I hate anyone who's very much into it.
We're not like other girls.
Not like other girls is my favorite fucking thing.
Anyway, this is the Media Hole Podcast. It's a weekly podcast in which we talk about movies, television shows, video games, and comic books, and plenty of other shit in the cultural zeitgeist.
Also, influencers who can't stay off Twitter.
That's true. My name's Nathan. His name's Ian.
You're watching here to bring you the news about
hell yeah.
Influencers who really do nothing else except for be rich and famous.
Oh yeah,
such as Chrissy
Lifestyles
Teigen.
of the rich and oh yeah.
I really used to like Chrissy Teigen. Like publicly, like said, I'm done with Twitter. It's a place of like toxic bullshit, and I can't handle it anymore.
Didn't we talk about that on the show?
I think we just like glazed over it because it was like 3 weeks ago she did this, and now she's back. She came back on Twitter and was just like, I miss seeing like funny things from people I enjoy. And it's like, wow, you learn that social media is what you make of it, and any website can be good as long as you properly curate what you see.
Mm-hmm.
It's like my fucking problem. People were always like, everyone always talks shit on Tumblr. Like, isn't it the place where everyone's just like SJW bullshit? And it's like, yeah, or you can also find the premium shit posters on there.
Yeah. And usually the SJWs and the premium ship posters were the same people.
Yeah, it's just they like the SJWs would be like, oh man, here's like something legitimately awful someone did. And if you saw someone being like, oh, this person doesn't stan BTS when they should, then you just unfollow that person.
Yeah.
You weigh the pros and the cons of like, is the discourse worth the funny?
Yeah,
I have my hands up as like a scale, but
the bit
too high up.
The bit I always played with Tumblr and like people talking about SJW shit is like, whenever somebody talks about that, I'm like, oh yeah, what's wrong with people talking about how like sexism's bad? Is that really something that hurts you so much?
What's wrong with being informed about how like this celebrity is a piece of shit and watching people have public meltdowns about why you shouldn't like?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Why you shouldn't
I
stand, because stand
I'm not
culture is
necessar-
actually very gross and is
yeah,
like
it is gross.
stupid.
Like, I'm not saying that every person who like is critical or whatever wants to talk about sexism or racism or whatever is like correct, but when somebody's trying to have an argument with you, you kind of have to defend certain things. And so
Yeah.
like my vibe is like, and this would have been a good look for Joe Biden back when he was doing the debates, but when Donald Trump calls him a socialist, if Joe Biden was like, yeah, you know what, if giving a shit about people and this and this and this are socialism, then maybe that's better than whatever you are. Like, is a better defense than no, I'm not. Like,
Yeah, but like, man, every single time I see something about Biden, it's like,
oh yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, you know what, you're still not good. Like, did you know there's still like,
Oh, they're building the border wall.
there's still, well, it said, Department of Justice is still like seizing border wall land, and it's like, fuck off.
Yeah. No, they actually just got approved to do more of it under Biden.
Yeah. It's going to be called the Biden wall now, not the Trump wall, the Biden wall.
And don't worry, kids. The cages Biden puts you in are much nicer.
They don't put you in cages, they put you in fucking actual real like cells.
Yeah. Don't worry, it's not a cage. It's
Yeah.
a cell room with a bed and bars on the windows. What's
I
that?
understand.
We shouldn't put children in prison at all?
Yeah. I
No.
understand that like you need to, it's not like you literally can't, cuz like there's kids lost in the system, they have to go back into like how they're doing it, but the fucking hoops that people were jumping through to be like, it's different than Trump's cages, and it's like, it's still kids in cages.
Yeah,
That's
it's still a problem.
And
They could have done what
there's no
they could have done what other countries do and put them in hotel rooms.
Yeah, especially since there's like entirely abandoned hotels right now.
Especially because they haven't been found guilty of a violent crime. So maybe it's dumb to fill correctional facilities with them?
If you want to have like a security guard that would be like, hey kids, please don't leave, because they were like, they could just get lost out there and like could end up with, they're like even like human trafficking kind of shit.
Yeah.
And then they could work to like find their parents or like bring their parents back, the ones that would like falsely deported and all that.
Yeah, and they should probably like as an ongoing thing maybe stop separating the children from the parents. That might help them not get lost in the system. Perhaps.
Yeah. Or you know what else they could do? You know what? It's just, I want to move off this topic now because I already have another thing about how America sucks right now, and it's just
we don't need to pile on. Well,
I added in the news.
In America's defense, Ontario has become a police state.
Oh yeah, well
yeah.
That's the thing is
how you gonna like cop in a $750 fine if you're going somewhere that they don't want you to go, Ian?
Sucks. I have to go to work and I'm just not gonna pay it.
Well, if you're going to work, if they believe that when you say you're going to work, then you won't pay a fine because that's okay.
Well, it's like I have to. Well, actually, technically, we're just kind of all like hoping that no one figures it out, but we are no longer essential because we don't have the we don't have the contract anymore, because we used to do like boxes for medical facilities and also meat suppliers.
Oh shit!
But we don't have those contracts anymore, so there's no point of us actually being open. But we're closing in like 5 weeks, so literally them closing us would just like do nothing but hurt the economy. And prior to Friday, we had never actually had an active COVID case in the building. But now we do.
Wait, so if you've had one, don't you have to be shut down for at least a few days?
No, because they did like the contact tracing and stuff, and like physically none of us have been in contact with this guy. If they really wanted to send some people, they sent one guy home because he actually spent like a good amount of time with him between shift changes, because he helped him change a tire on his car.
But that got tested negative, I'm guessing?
No, he hasn't been. He has to go get a test, so we don't know about him yet. He's getting his test on Sunday. But like, for some reason, that whole shift is still allowed to come in. I don't understand that part. Like, I get it that we work socially distanced anyways, but it's still on the actual shift. So I think they should have to go get tested.
Yeah, man,
but we don't work with.
When I start that new job, I'm going to be having to take the train there because it's downtown.
Oh.
It's going to be spooky.
Especially, have you seen that the trains and shit are like, or like there was a bus, like a late night bus, and it's like looks really bad. Like it's packed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a GO train, so it's probably going to be less packed. But,
yeah.
You know.
And the GO train also has the upstairs part, so.
Yeah.
It's a big train. Yeah, Ontario sucks right now. And the fact, let's dog on Ontario, because we talk shit on America for too long. And we never. So, what's happened recently with us is there's been like a new conference like every fucking week since the pandemic started. And this one, Doug Ford, our premier, which is like the same as a governor pretty much, came in and said, hey, motherfuckers, if we see you outside of your home and you are not walking a dog within 3 kilometers of your house, or doing some
or going to work, going to the grocery store.
Yeah.
What else?
You will, you will get a $750 fine. Which.
Yep.
This is not the first time they did it, but this is the first time that he is insisting that they're going to do like traffic stops and shit, which was people's fear when they did it the last time.
Yes.
But then a bunch of local police stations have said we are not doing that. We will not fucking listen to this nonsense.
But as we know, police love to lie, so we will be checking in on that.
Also, the police love to lie, but also like they can't control every single officer. Like if one dude decides like I'm tired of this COVID shit, so I'm going to take it upon myself to enact my police state bullshit on other people, then they'll do it.
And he's been given every right to do it. So I mean, he probably won't even be punished.
So
or she or they.
Yeah. I really don't think there's a
I stand for non-binary police, okay?
Yeah. So I just think it's really bad and a stupid thing to do, especially since Trudeau, our premier of the nation, aka the premier minister, the prime minister,
the number one minister in the nation,
he said, hey, would you like to have the Red Cross come in, which is like a relief thing we have? Do the states have the same thing?
Yeah,
it might be called.
It's an organization,
but they're just a bunch of relief workers. So really, they can't they're not like doctors or anything. But what they could do is set up mobile vaccination centers in like locations nearby, which would be cool. Because then Ford also claims that we don't have any more vaccinations. Another lie. We have about 1 million doses just sitting inside of a freezer.
Damn.
So yeah, they're just like at a standstill. We're like worse than the States ever was right now at this point. But America never put like any police bullshit out somehow.
Yeah, like we have like a really high, like a lot more people are getting sick than usual. Obviously not quite as bad as like the States had it, but we're having like a very high infection rate. Which is partly due to kind of like the shifting rules over the past few months and people being fatigued of like the idea of staying in again, which is dangerous, of course. But like part of that is due to like ineptitude. And then a lot of people are pissed off about like the lack of vaccines, which comes to the fact that you can't make them in Canada anymore, or like they don't.
They can't make them because when Stephen Harper, the former prime minister, was in power, he defunded and closed a bunch of vaccine manufacturing places, so there was no place to like slide in. They would actually have to go and build buildings and shit for them, or like rent places and then build up the inside, and they were just like didn't have the time. And Canada wasn't, or like Ontario and like places around us weren't given the resources, like the money to go and do it, and they weren't allocating the money because Ford still needs that money to give to his powerful friends. Because once again, he was a drain the swamp candidate who fucking put more mud in there.
Yeah, he was the swamp.
It's like Trump when he fucking put that like education minister who never worked in a school ever.
Betsy DeVos, baby.
Yeah, I always thought it was DeVoe. Yeah, we're literally no better than the United States, and people who act like we are fucking foolish, like my mom.
Yep.
They're always just like, oh, hey, at least we're not racist. And it's like...
Yeah, I mean...
I have heard my dad call Pakistani people some bad names.
I'll stand by not as bad.
I will stand by that. I don't think there has been a lynching in Canada in a very, very, very long time.
Yeah.
But it's happened.
It has.
Yeah. Just like,
I think
imagine
the last
ashamed.
meeting or official meeting of the KKK in Canada, while it was still legal to be a member of the KKK in Canada,
Was in Georgetown?
was Georgetown, baby. That's super close.
Yeah.
Close.
I had a friend who lived in Georgetown, and I always used to ask him, be like, hey, bro, you ever see, like, KKK members? And he was like, yes. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yep.
So, just stop being racist. Why can't we just be friendly like we used to be?
Yeah. I saw a great tweet that got deleted because, of course, Twitter, where somebody posted, it shouldn't be bad. We should all be ready to die for Christ. And somebody quote tweeted with, okay, sounds good. You first.
Oh, did they delete the fucking quote tweet?
The quote tweet got taken down by
Oh my
Twitter.
God. Shut up. See, this is like the one time I'll like agree with right-wing people.
We need
like,
free speech.
It's I get it that it's a private company, so they can do whatever the fuck they want, but still, it's like that is so innocuous. It's not like it's like you should be willing to die for Christ, and the guy's like, that's the name of my gun, I'm gonna fucking shoot you now.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, go for it, have fun, have at it.
Well, one of the things with the way like social media companies run their censorship, and like this is something I learned from Facebook, maybe Twitter doesn't do the same thing, but for Facebook, when they delete like Facebook groups for being hate groups, they try to do an equal number of left-wing and right-wing Facebook groups, but the left-wing groups are all like, we fight for racial equality, or like, we're anti-police, or like all that shit, versus like the right-wing group that's like, I'll kill every fucking one of these people. It's like, well, one of these is a hate group, certainly, but I wouldn't say both. But they try to take down an equal number so they don't look biased.
Fucking there's a bunch of Canadians calling it the police state and being like, this is like it's Nazi Germany.
I hate that.
It's so bad. Like,
I hate that. It's frustrating when I have to defend the police state and I go, okay, all right, well, like that one was like fighting against a not real threat, and this one is fighting against a real threat poorly.
Yeah. It's so
frustrating
dumb.
to have to defend it. I'm like,
Fire Ford, Open Ontario. See, that's wrong as well.
I'm fine with the first half of the sentence.
Yeah,
certainly.
but Open Ontario is wrong. It should be like Fire Ford, implement paid sick time.
Yeah, that one. That one's better.
Oh, hey, apparently Japan's doing really bad.
Oh, really? I thought they were supposed to be doing really good by now.
Yeah, I thought so too. Reuters said Tokyo Olympics must be reconsidered due to Japan's failure to contain the pandemic.
Holy shit. I thought they got down to 0 for a while, so maybe they like opened back up.
They probably opened back up and like someone from China popped on over.
Well, China's actually like, I think pretty much like back
China
to 0.
also did it, but China did the police, like a proper real police state thing, a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Because they are a police state.
Well, it does make it easier to make people stay inside if you say, if you go outside, we will shoot you. It's like, all right. I guess I'm not going outside.
Nova Scotia also did something similar, but they have the lowest cases in the entire country now.
Quebec is currently rioting because they've had like 3 months of curfew. You can't be outside past 8 p.m.
Yeah, which is just dumb because also they're rioting, and just like how right-wing rioters normally are, instead of aiming for the Target and the Walmarts, they're like pride and joy of their people. They'll go for like, I'm gonna go fuck up a bakery.
Well, I think like a lot of the people in Quebec, like it's not just like right-wing people rioting. Like it's, you can't force people to stay inside for 3 months curfew. Like you can't do it. Like the public is going to fight that. Like, and it's Quebec. Like it's fucking Quebec, dude. Like there's a day every year in Quebec where they're just like, oh, do you know what we should do? Just fist fight the police today. Just collectively. And you know what? I'm pro that.
Yeah, but fucking Nova Scotia pretty much. Well, it's pretty easy for them because they're bordered by New Brunswick, I think, and that's it.
Have you seen all those ads telling people to go leave Ontario and buy houses in Nova Scotia? Have you seen any of those?
Yeah, because $1 million house in Nova Scotia is what you think $1 million house is, where $1 million house in like Toronto is a tiny fucking shithole.
Yeah.
So like might as well.
Yeah, but also like
Fucking a friend from high school was like already out there real early.
Yeah.
Or no, she's in New Brunswick, isn't she?
Yeah, she's in New Brunswick.
Still probably better than here. Yeah, so there's like one road.
Alternately, former host of the show Davis is out in Alberta.
Yeah.
Which is like, ooh.
Yeah, I'm sure he's having a fun time. There is like.
Did you see that thing where they built that fence around that church in Alberta?
I did not, but let me just get this out here. There is the border between New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. There's like the Highway 104 and like Road 970. That is the only two ways to get in to Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, and they just closed those roads and were like, you can't leave and you can't come in. That's it. Well, there's also
I guess you could. Is there a land border or is it okay?
There's a ferry as well if you wanted to go to like PEI, but
which
literally
means you could like swim.
You could
boat,
but like that's I kind of agree with like closing the province and stuff to like like stop like close borders and stuff and shit, but don't like attack the people who are inside.
Yeah, I don't really have anything against closing even like the international border or whatever, which is something that we really didn't do fast enough / really ever.
And yeah, because they still like let truck drivers pass it constantly, and I understand we need that for the economy, but there's like businessmen, there's like German dudes at my work right now.
Yeah, there's people like,
and I mean that like dudes from Germany, not guys who just happen to be German.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you were talking about people like me when you meant German dudes.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh yeah, my grandpa came here from Germany.
Yeah. So, I don't know, it's just so dumb. Or like, it's like, I'm for the lockdowns. I fuck the police still.
Yeah. Like, I'm for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, especially
I think we should maybe do more positive reinforcement and not negative punishment.
Especially when, America's having a bad time with the police again.
Of course.
Like, when a 13-year-old, when they say, put your hands up, and he puts his hands up, and then you still shoot him in the chest and kill him.
Yeah, not
You're
good.
kind of a bad person. He threw something behind there and then turned around with his hands up. He was gonna attack me. Fucking assholes.
That's
the only one I'm gonna talk about this week.
There's 3 major incidents this week, on top of the fact that, obviously as we're talking, or probably not as we're talking because it's the weekend, but as you're listening to this, the Derek Chauvin trial is going on, which is I'm not paying too much attention to it just because having to see people go oh, was this, and see any argument being fucking portrayed at all is disgusting to me. It makes me feel physically ill.
Yeah, especially since it's just
oh, he actually OD'd, happened to be ODing as this guy's neck, as his fucking leg was. It's oh my god.
Or the Devontae Wright thing when it's oh, he was there for a traffic stop and the lady was being antagonistic, and then he was saying hey, fuck you. And then there was but he had an actual arrest warrant out for him, so it was totally reasonable. It's
oh,
they
what
had
was
this
the
car.
warrant for?
It doesn't matter what they had the warrant for. They had car, and as you know, as a person who drives a car, you're registered with your fucking, for us it's Service Ontario, for America it's the DMV. Mm-hmm. The cops can get that information and go to your home and arrest you. Mm-hmm. If someone flees the crime scene, you just fucking let them go, and then you get them later.
The warrant, I believe, was for not showing up for a court date.
Yeah. And then what was the other dumbass thing?
He didn't do a violent crime. Oh yeah, but she thought the taser was a gun.
Yeah, and then I saw a guy on TikTok he was a law enforcement officer, and he was like, "Yeah, well, here's my taser. To fire a taser, you need to charge it up. You have to turn the safety off, and it has to charge up. It doesn't immediately fire because if it did, you would fucking electrocute yourself all the time." And they're on different sides of your body. They're not close together, and
completely different weights.
I saw a tweet from Stefan Babcock, the singer of Pup, who was like, yeah, so I keep my phone in my left pocket and my keys in my right pocket, and never once have I tried to unlock my front door with my fucking phone, you stupid idiot, you dumb piece of shit.
Or like, and one of the things is like, how could you not discern these two things apart? Which is true, but also, it probably would have also been wrong to tase him in that moment.
Yeah.
But the taser was a gun thing is a tried and true cop defense. The 2009 killing at Fruitvale Station in Oakland, the cop claimed the exact same thing. The problem was that the person who died was on the ground handcuffed and was hit in the back of the head. And it's like, well, if you shot him with a taser in the back of the head while he was handcuffed on the floor, that would have also been not okay.
Yes.
Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah. So.
There's a great movie made about that, also called Fruitvale Station, directed by Ryan Coogler, who went on to do Black Panther. It is a terrific movie that I would only recommend if you're ready to have the rest of your day filled with anger and sadness. That is the only time in my life I have like gotten close to punching a wall is after watching that movie.
Yeah. The world is a vampire.
The world is a vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Fucked up.
Anyways,
you want to talk about video games?
We don't really have any. We have like one piece of video game news, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I didn't even see this because it just kind of dropped, and I was like, I don't care. They're not going to show Silk Song, so whatever.
Yeah, Nintendo had an Indie World showcase, and they showed off Ollie Ollie World, which is cool. Just a new Ollie Ollie, but it's like got a story mode or whatever. Oxenfree 2. Huh?
It would be cool if they made like an Ollie Ollie World, but it was like skate.
I mean,
it would give me the vibe of like skateboarding, but what's that fucking thing? It would be like classic Tony Hawk, but since with Ollie Ollie's like art style and color direction, it would feel more like Jet Set Radio.
Yeah. So it's Ollie Ollie World is like, it's still kind of a 2D. Like it's instead of being like an actual 2D game, it's instead like 3D and with polygons and much like more bright and colorful, and it has a story mode, but it's still like I think like a 2D, like it's like I guess 2.5D now.
Yeah.
Looks cool. Nice. Yeah. Oxenfree 2, I loved the first one.
Also, Ollie Ollie is like Ollie Ollie World is the third one. It's got to like actually change, which they did, so that's cool.
Hindsight, which looks cool.
They have grabs now.
House of the Dead remake. They had grabs in 2, didn't they?
No, it was just flip tricks.
Oh. House of the Dead remake, which isn't really an indie game, but okay.
Yeah. But it's probably the remake is probably being done by like an actual like
a
indie
smaller
dev.
studio.
Yeah.
And then Getsu Fumaden, which is a remake of a NES game, or I guess a Famicom game because it never came to America. Getsu Fumaden is basically the Castlevania with sexy boys or sexier boys.
Yeah, I don't like how this looks.
Getsu Fumaden?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
it looks a little better now, but it's just something. It just looks like one of those games that is hard to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they had the classic Zelda Mario boss where it was just giant head, 2 floating hands. That is in every 3D Zelda game and like in a bunch of 3D Mario games. It's I don't know why.
Or a hand with an eye on it.
But that usually goes hand in hand with the floating head boss.
It's true. But remember in Mario 64 when there's like a chest on a platform and then the platform like turns into a hand with an eye on it?
No. But I'll believe you. Or you know what, actually I think the hand boss with like the 2 head 2 hand, I think that's more of a 2D Zelda actually.
Yeah.
I know there's one in Minish Cap, the best Zelda game.
There's one in Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, that one's fun.
What
There's
you drinking?
one. I think there's one in LaCroix.
Ooh.
Yeah, I finished my Boomer Juice. Yeah. So yeah, it's Nintendo. Nintendo had their indie showcase. That's what was there.
Yeah. It's cool.
Is
There's
Typing of the Dead
obviously
also consider it a indie game?
no. I mean, they're both by Sega. I don't really see calling it indie is fucking dumb.
Yeah. Oh,
It's,
Donkey just made a Typing of the Dead video. That's crazy.
Typing the Dead's great.
I know, but it's just like, it's one of those things you bring it up and you don't expect anyone to be talking about it recently. Like,
There was a Stop Skeletons from Fighting video recently that mentioned it. I like them. I like Stop Skeletons from Fighting. They're great.
I'm not aware of them.
Oh, they do like videos on like weird video game shit. Like a lot of the time it's like about weird peripherals and stuff.
They ever do one about how Yakuza's the best?
No, not specifically.
What's the name of this channel again? Sorry, I'd like
Stop Skeletons from Fighting.
Stop Skeletons from Fighting. Connect.
Yeah, like they did a Connect video exactly. Like they
Yeah.
did videos like on all that shit, like
The
deep dive.
history of the Xbox 360 HD DVD drive and the Blu-ray war explained. That's for some Zoomers, because I already know about it.
Yeah, I lived through that shit.
I lived through it. Yeah, I didn't understand it at all. I was like, "Why? DVDs look just fine." I was wrong, but still,
Yeah.
it's like,
Well, like
so many
and like
things-
obviously Blu-rays are better because you can hold more.
yeah.
On it
I
as
literally
well.
think that I'm gonna do the exact same thing, like in the future when there's like the next version of it where it's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Blu-rays are too small now. We need to use this other thing." I'll be like, "Why?"
Well, they've already done that, Ian, behind your back. 4K Blu-rays.
Yeah, I know, but that's still Blu-rays.
But they're not. They don't play on Blu-ray players. You need a
But they
specific
play
4K Blu-ray.
Okay, but they'll play on my PS5, right?
Yes.
So
Because
then I
the
don't
PS5 discs are 4K Blu-rays.
But that's just a newer version. That's like talking about like iPhones and Androids and shit. It's like, of course, a new version of the thing that already exists is going to come out.
Yeah.
But,
It'd be
like,
like
I mean,
if
when there's-
VHS 2 came out.
Yeah, if they decided that that the only way to move forward is no longer on optical discs, it has to be on fucking VHS tapes again
Yeah.
that have like crazy cool shit inside of them.
RIP the UMD.
Yeah. Well, that was dumb as shit. That was just a disc inside of an.
It's
like,
just
a
a PSP.
compartment.
That's literally a specific thing made for PSP. Like
Yeah.
it's like if you combined a disc and a cartridge.
It's something they had to come up with because they needed, because you need cartridges of some sort for mobile things. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The Vita was stupid. It had the worst thing about the PS Vita that like obviously the Switch learned from the most is the Vita had a cart that looked like it would fit a mini SD card or micro SD, whichever one it is.
Yeah.
But instead it used its own proprietary super expensive memory cards. Where it's like 16 gigs for like fucking $50 and you're like, Jesus Christ. Like
Yeah.
I can get a micro SD with 100 for the same price or whatever.
I just saw something really bad.
What?
It's Leonardo DiCaprio's Jordan Belfort on the boat scene in Wolf of Wall Street.
Okay.
You know, when the guy's like there and he's saying you're going to be an investigator or whatever, and he throws like a lobster at him and kicks him off the boat.
Mm-hmm.
And this dude that I know through a mutual friend, he put it where it's like, me vaccinated? Nah, not me, but I identify as a vaccinated person, so checkmate, bitches. Shut the fuck up.
Why do you know this person?
He's an old friend. Like, he's, not the, okay, I won't say names, but you know of Blake's roommates, yes?
Yes.
Not that guy. Not that one with that name. The other one with the other same name. It's not him. It's not him.
Okay.
He's not it's his like best friend from like
Oh,
childhood.
I know him.
Yeah,
him.
you know him.
Yes, I've met him a couple times.
Yeah, so I've known him also for a long time, so I'm friends with him on Facebook, and he just like posts the worst shit.
That's the worst shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a guy I work with. He always brings up I identify as an Apache helicopter shit. I'm like, God, shut the fuck up.
It's been 9 years.
It's so not funny, but he like giggles and like smirks whenever he says it. I'm like, you really think that's funny, man?
It's a dead bit.
It was funny on people on 4chan now would cringe if you said that.
Yeah.
They'd be like, ha ha ha, just call them monsters to society like we all do.
They've already dropped the new transphobia. You can just say you're super straight. Like, come on. It's old. They are. Come on.
The new transphobia is just saying, like, yeah, sorry, I only fuck men. Yeah.
Anyway.
Speaking of transphobia, I'm sure their Legendary Pictures have made something with transphobia in it.
Yeah, maybe. Legendary Pictures, Netflix, and Sunrise have announced that they're making a live-action Gundam movie.
Woo! I'm sure it will be bad.
No, it's going to be directed by Jordan Vogt Roberts, director of The Kings of Summer and Kong Skull Island, and the upcoming Metal Gear Solid movie. And he's really cool. Who's really into a lot of
the
stuff.
Metal Gear Solid movie?
It's
Oscar Isaac was supposed to play someone,
himself.
Right?
Yeah, he's Snake.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So wait, which Snake though? Big Boss or?
I don't know. Probably Solid Snake.
It's probably just a redo of the first Metal Gear, which I think is solid.
Maybe, or Metal Gear 1 or whatever.
Yeah.
This movie is being written by Brian K. Vaughan.
You fucking
best
got me
known
there.
For
I forgot.
comics like Saga, Why the Last Man, and Runaways.
I forgot that fucking Metal Gear Solid isn't the first Metal Gear game.
Gotcha, bitch. There was
Yeah.
2 before. Metal Gear 1, Metal Gear 2.
Metal Gear
And
2,
Metal
Solid
Gear...
Snake, and then Metal Gear Solid, which I guess would be Metal Gear 3.
Yeah. But it's also kind of a remake of 2.
Yeah. I think I was listening to a podcast. No, not a podcast. I was watching a stream yesterday. But there was them playing Mario Party, so it just felt like a podcast. And someone said, when you guys did any of you ever play Twin Snakes or whatever? And they were like, yeah, it sucks. Which I just realized is a different game that I was talking about.
Yeah, Twin Snakes is the remake of 1 on the GameCube. I personally like Twin Snakes, though. It's people who are like, oh, it's dumb because all the cutscenes are ridiculous now, and I'm like, but it's cool.
That's Metal Gear. All the cutscenes are always ridiculous. Like fucking watch Revolver Ocelot spin the gun for 3 straight minutes. Like Metal Gear Solid is stupid.
Yeah, it brings it more in line with 2 and 3 and onwards, honestly. Like, and they got a really good. The guy who directed that movie Versus that I watched a month or 2 ago, did the cutscenes for Metal Gear Solid. Twin Snakes, which are great. Like, it has like a guy like fucking backflip to dodge a missile. It's rad.
Or the best edit ever, which I think Octopimp did, where he fucking they like throw. It's like a big fight where like someone dives in through the side of like a plane, and then he just like they get in a fight, and at the end of the fight he's supposed to just fly out the other side, and they edited it so that he just jumps in and then rolls and immediately flies at the other side, and the triumphant like Metal Gear music plays. It's so funny.
That's great. Yeah. I do think this Gundam movie could be dope. Like, again, Jordan Vogt Roberts has done some stuff that I really like. Again, Kings of Summer is a great, underrated, like, lesser known, indie movie from the early 2010s.
Yeah.
And Kong Skull Island is the best of the legendary monster movies so far, like, not counting Pacific Rim because it's not in that universe.
Yeah.
Obviously, Pacific Rim is the best, but...
The first Pacific Rim.
Yeah, oh yeah. The one by Del Toro, not the one by Google's name. I don't fucking know.
By the guy that Del Toro was like, yeah, no, he can handle it, and then fucks it up.
Yeah, well, it was more like Pacific Rim 1 made no money in America.
I saw this quote about that it was Paul Williams talking about Phantom of the Paradise.
Oh yeah?
And how that movie was like a major flop. And he talked about how he was in Mexico doing a show, and a kid came up to him and like was like, hey, can you sign my copy of like the soundtrack for Phantom of the Paradise? And he's like, oh yeah, sure. He signs it and he's like, hey kid, what's your name? And he's like, Guillermo del Toro.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's rad, dude. Yeah, Phantom of the Paradise is sick. Brian De Palma film.
Yeah, that's a really that's a movie where like Gavin was like, let's watch it, and I honestly thought like, oh my god, this is gonna be like another shit movie they forced me to sit through, and I watched it and I was like, wow, this is really fucking good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like actually a cult classic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Is that it for the news? Oh yeah. So also things that Netflix is doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Fourth and final season of Castlevania is coming.
Yep. I wonder if it still has Warren Ellis writing, because he did get canceled, but you know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, maybe he already has a script outline that he wrote, and they'll just have someone else finish it. You know, things happen.
Maybe.
So, yeah, can't wait to see it.
One of the things that I'm really interested in with what they're doing with Castlevania is like they said that there's like going to be maybe like a spin-off series or whatever.
Yeah.
That'll deal with the future characters, which is what like I've been saying for like a little while now, since season 3 came out or whatever. Is like, yeah, I'd love to see, you know, the future and like maybe deal with Simon and then like work our way to, you know, Richter and whatnot, and then eventually Julius Belmont.
Yeah. Well, didn't they say like they have another Castlevania project in the works as well after this?
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's further down the line is what the implication is.
It just sucked because you know, I think it would be interesting because if they made like a new one, like they were like, oh, you know what? Here's just a different fucking Belmont.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, just do
a Lady Belmont,
or maybe an Order of Ecclesia TV show.
Let's get our Mary Sue character in here.
No, just do
or
Order
what
of Ecclesia.
Dudes
That
always say is a
character.
Mary Sue. Where I'm saying that Simon, no, what's the guy's name? The main character,
Trevor.
Trefor. He has a kid with Sypha.
Yeah.
It's a girl, and she is a super cool like demon hunter like her dad, but she can use magic like her mom.
See, that girl's not important, but Simon's important, or whatever. His kid's
but
not
I don't
important,
care.
but Simon's the
know.
most important. He actually gets 2 adventures.
Yeah, well, fuck that guy.
He's Castlevania 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And 4, but 4 was just one remade.
Okay.
But yeah, the one, again, like, I think if you wanted to do woman main character and a show that's not the exact same story, you could do Order of Ecclesia.
Okay. I don't know anything about this shit. I'm not a Castlevania fan.
Order of Ecclesia is the DS one, or one of the DS ones, I should say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like essentially for a while, like the Belmont clan was gone, and so like this order of monks called the Order of Ecclesia, like started their own thing where they're like, we're gonna deal with demons and Draculas and all the like. And then like one of them is like, oh, I found Dracula. I found Castlevania, the titular Castlevania, and you know, it's landed somewhere, and now I'm summoning Dracula or whatever. Obviously, Aria of Sorrow is the one. Is the coolest one. Because that's one like where it's like takes place in the far off year of 2020 or whatever.
Yeah.
Or 2035 maybe. I don't remember. But that's the GBA one where you play as this guy that's like Soma Cruz in modern day ish Japan after like 1999 was the Great Vampire War that finally killed Dracula once and for all. Julius Belmont, like you hear all this cool shit, and then you're like, it's 2035, and like Dracula's trying to possess Soma Cruz. Yeah. It's cool. Castlevania's a great show. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. It's good.
Yeah.
Man, I remember when season 1 came out, and I was the only one of our friends who watched season 1, and then season 2 came out, and everybody got into it. And that's because I have exquisite taste.
Yeah. So fucking apparently, there's some You remember, like, the it's the Dark Souls of blank shit.
Yeah.
Some Rock Paper Shotgun made this fucking news article that says Dragon Age 2's lead writer says a hypothetical Snyder cut would make the city bigger and more alive, among other changes. Stop calling it that.
It was a joke. It was a conversation. He wasn't even saying, like, let's do a remaster or a director's cut. He just made a joke calling it a Snyder's cut. And everybody's jumping up his ass for just trying to be funny.
No, because he's not the first person to say it. People keep bringing up, like, oh, like, there's an Ayer cut. There's a Snyder cut of fucking Suicide Squad that we could call the Ayer cut. And it's just, no. It's out. Yeah. It's over.
Yeah, it's also dumb.
She's a fucking you're a writer.
Yeah.
The reason why all of that shit isn't in the fucking game is because they didn't want to put it in there, or they didn't have the time,
or money, or whatever.
Yeah. Well, money equals time.
Time and money are very linked.
Yeah. Money can get you all sorts of time.
It's true. Like the movie In Time. Mm-hmm. So here's something you may or may not know.
Shermie confirmed for KOF 15.
Sure, but also April 24th they're gonna upload the first episode of a new 3-part show onto the Avatar: The Last Airbender YouTube channel.
Oh, it's on the YouTube channel?
Yeah.
I thought I heard that it was it was on Netflix, but that's good. I'd rather it be on YouTube.
You know what's weird? Netflix, at least for me, when I checked today, I don't know why I even looked at it, but Legend of Korra, they only have the first 2 seasons. They don't have season 3 and 4.
That's weird.
It's a shame, because, like, obviously 3 and 4 are the best ones.
Yeah, let's end on the fucking bad seasons.
Yeah, like, season 2 is the worst one.
Yeah.
You want to get into the weeks?
Yeah, might as well. Like, I fucking don't have anything else to say.
Yeah.
Actually, I heard that there is another thing I heard about the thing. It's more like Avatar Aang stuff, so it might just be like shorts based off of the books, like the comics.
So one of the things that I heard though that's weird is like they didn't like the promo image seemed to have Toph in it, but they didn't get Michaela Murphy, I want to say, who's the voice actress who played Toph, involved, which is weird because they usually get people back.
Maybe on top of being deaf, she's now mute and blind.
She's only blind.
Did I say on top of being deaf?
Yeah.
Yeah, I meant the other thing. On top of being blind, she's now deaf and mute.
Maybe that did it.
Yeah.
But yeah. But maybe it's more Korra era stuff because Janet Varney said that there was something interesting coming, but she could be wrong.
Or she could have been talking about something else. Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into the weeks. I'm gonna go first. So this week I watched the 2 movies nominated for Oscars that were directed by women.
Okay.
What? Why are you sighing?
Why couldn't you watch the ones directed by men?
Because I will eventually, but these ones
are the Oscars too woke? An article I've written about being a right-wing man in Hollywood.
This is the first time 2 women have been nominated for Best Director in the same year.
Yeah. But are they
kind
good?
Kind of depressing. I would say so.
Movies?
Well, let me talk about it then, you dumb bitch.
You know what? I don't like your opinions anymore. You can talk all you want.
All right. So first, I watched the movie Nomadland from last year, directed by Chloe Zhao. Nomadland is on Disney Plus if you are over 18 or whatever, and it details the life of a character named Fern who has decided to become a nomad after the financial collapse of the town of Empire, Nevada, which which is a real thing where like that town was basically owned by like I think it was like a mine or a manufacturing company, and the company like kind of went under, and then like the company owned all the homes, and so everybody had to leave. The entire town's area code got like gotten rid of. That's just the backstory to this movie. But basically, she's decided to live a nomadic life. She lives in a van with like a bunch of shit in it.
Down by the river?
No, she drives all over the place.
Supposed
I mean,
to be
she
down
does
by
go
the
by.
river.
She does go by the river at some point. But what's interesting about this movie is that while it has a beginning and an end, it really just doesn't have like much structure in the middle. It's just kind of, it's kind of going through it, and it's cool because the reason why that works for this movie is because Frances McDormand, who plays the main character, is one of like 2 actual actors in the movie, and almost everyone else she interacts with is a real person playing themselves, who is like a nomadic person living that life, which I think is really cool. And like it doesn't really feel like it's not like a documentary, but it doesn't feel like a traditional narrative film because it's more like it's just kind of real, and it's very interesting and like joyous, and pretty. So I think it's a really cool movie. Yeah, it's really good, and I would recommend it to anybody who doesn't mind a movie that's like mostly old white people in it.
So
there's some really, I don't know. Out of 10, I'd say it's like a 4. Or no, 4. I'd say
out
it's
of
like
10, it's a 4, so it's a fucking garbage movie.
I'd say it's like an 8, maybe a 7.5, maybe an 8.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. That's
so
fine.
now you do something, and then I'll do my next one.
Yeah. So I beat Monster Hunter.
And
I've
is it
fully
good?
beaten the final one. It's good. I just wish the final monster is like not as good as World's final monster. Because they put these like new kind of quests in called Rampage quests, where the whole point of it is to stop repel a bunch of waves of monsters with like a big monster at the end.
Yeah.
So you get like the first time
like
you get
bug snacks.
Sure, still haven't played it, so so you get like it's supposed to be a quest you do with 4 people, and you put down like ballistas and cannons and then just a machine gun at one point because Monster Hunter doesn't make any sense. And you just like use like weapon installments to repel monsters. And then they also have a really fun thing where you can where this thing gets fired called a counter signal, and your damage gets times 5'd. So with like a normal hit, like if I get the best hit I can with my like greatsword, I do about 500 damage. When the fucking counter signal gets fired, I do 2,500. And it
Nice.
and it's like big number make fucking brain go what? So that was fun to do a couple times. It just sucks that you have to do it with other people. Like that's the story progression things I don't like in Monster Hunter, where like to actually do this quest, you can't do it by yourself. You have to go online.
Yeah.
But at least you can't fail from fainting too much those quests. The only ways you can fail is by like having the final gate be broken. So you fight the Wind Serpent Ibushi, who is like just this giant fucking dragon. There's no way you could have done this quest without like a normal hunt. The dude is too fucking big.
Yeah.
Here, I'm gonna post a picture of him. So after you do that, you do a few more quests. Like 3 more, and now you get to go beat up his wife, the Thunder Serpent Narwa. And unlike her husband, she has a big glowing thing there on her
big old tummy
on her abdomen, because you're beating up her pregnant belly.
Nice.
Yeah. So that she is the actual final monster in the game. And that one is not a rampage quest. It's an arena quest where there's ballistas and stuff that pop up. And it's actually pretty fun to do. It's just not as cool as, like, the end of Monster Hunter World, which is, hey, it's you. Go beat the fuck out of a giant dragon.
Yeah, and then, like, Fatalis, which is, like, the recently added one.
Yeah, that's, like, that's like, end of the game. But I also, like, this is the monster at the end of Monster Hunter World. Its name is Xenojiva.
Mm-hmm.
And it probably is about the same size as Narwa. It's just that you can actually fight it without having to use weapons.
Other shit.
Yeah, but Narwa like floats around.
So
in the air.
they were kind of going up with a different vibe this time.
Yeah, you could go in with a dog shit weapon and beat the shit out of it with like ballistas and cannons the whole time, because whenever it activates certain moves, that like ballistas, cannons, or machine cannons just pop out of the ground and you can use them.
So this game, it adds a lot of like cool stuff and like QOL stuff, but also like, you know, movement and other interesting things.
Yeah.
But you'd say like overall maybe the boss content, the monster content in general is a little weaker.
The monster content of like the monsters you fight while you're going to the end game is better than World's. But it doesn't have the end game monsters that World has. Because when World launched, it had the fun. So to get to the final boss, World had like 3 different fucking endings. Like you beat your low rank.
The last boss of the main game, the last boss of Iceborne, and then Fatalis, which is like the last boss. No,
not even that. I'm talking
Iceborne.
Base World. Because beat low rank and you beat up this fucking dude, Zora Magdaros, and his fight is very fucking lame and it's very on rails and it sucks. And I'm like, well, that's shit. But then you get high rank where you have to fight all the monsters you've already fought before, but they do more damage and take more hits.
Right.
And it's fun. It's like and you get more powerful, but then at the end of that, you discover Nergigante, the first the elder dragon that eats other elder dragons, and he's a very cool fight. Yeah. It's probably it's much better than Xeno'jiiva, but it's like you beat him and now you get to go fight the other elder dragons that are in the game. So fuck, I got to look them up because I keep forgetting their names. But there's like 5 of them that you have to go through.
Yeah.
There's Kushala Daora, Teostra, and Valhazak are the main 3 you have to go beat up. And then after you beat them, then you can go fight Xeno'jiiva, and Xeno'jiiva is like a brand new monster for the game.
Okay.
And that's like the final boss of World. And then they added in post-content, like they put in the Behemoth fight for the Final Fantasy XIV crossover.
Right.
They put in Kulva Taroth, which is just like a giant lizard with a big cloak. But that's extra content. And right now, that's where we're at with with Rise, is we have to wait for new monsters.
Oh, so like that last boss, that's not even like the last boss of low rank that you.
Yeah, but no, it's the last boss.
It's the actual last
boss of the main game. Like,
okay,
Xeno'jiiva is the last boss of World. Like that is in the game. So I have beaten Rise at the moment. Now I'm just waiting for more content to come out.
Yeah, so then you're gonna be back on that content drip.
Yeah, within the next week or so, because
that's fast. It took you a lot longer to get through World the first
World
time.
has a lot more like forces you to go fight other monsters and shit. Mm-hmm. Like to go and unlock the ability to fight Teostra, Kushala Daora, or Valhazak, you have to go do quests in one of the 3 main areas to unlock the ability to go fight that monster. And that kind of sucks. It's like it forces you to go do the extra like nonsense that you can do.
So what you're saying is you maybe like skipped some of the side stuff that the other game forced you to do.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not that you've necessarily run out of content. It's that like there's stuff that you just decided that you didn't want to do.
I have fought almost every monster in the game at this point. There's only one monster I have never actually fought. And it's because I don't like fighting him because he's a classic monster. He's been around since Monster Hunter 2, and he's a bitch. He shows up he was a DLC for Iceborne, or like a update for Iceborne, and he's a very tough man. He's a monkey with bull horns, and he fires thunder out of his mouth. He goes Super Saiyan in his fight. He goes like Super Saiyan 1 when he gets enraged, and his arms get like, which is 80% of his body almost, get fucking super powerful. And if you have less than blue sharpness, you can't actually hit him. You just tink off and do minimal damage. And then after you piss him off enough, he goes Super Saiyan 2 and starts like dodging, going around the area, firing mouth blasts at you. And it's not even that big of a monster.
Damn, dude. Can't remember the last time someone fired mouth blasts at me.
It's a tough fight, and I don't want to do it. So I'll probably do it eventually with like Anthony when he's up there, or even Chris and Emma. But like, I don't want to fight him by myself.
So what would you say out of 10?
8.
Nice.
The quality of life changes and the like wire bug stuff made that game so much better. Like, it's more entertaining to play than World. World feels like a chore to get through. This was just straight enjoyment because it's like you don't have to build a meter of like shit you can do or like to get to a next level of quest. It's literally like, here are like 7 quests. Do 5 of them and you get to move up in the story. That's it.
Nice. Okay.
And
awesome.
then also World has like one campaign that you go through and it's really hard to co-op through, where Rise has the single player campaign, which I had beaten within like the first 3 days of the game coming out. But it's like a tutorial campaign. It's like you do that campaign and it teaches you how to play the game. So like instead of
Nice.
World, which is just like, here's a bunch of easy monsters. Oh, now the game's hard. It's like, here's a steady stream of easy to hard monsters. And then you go into the gathering hub where you actually, even at low rank, you'll have a bit more trouble because the monsters are at their proper health.
Okay.
So Rise is definitely an easier game to get into. It's just they have the classic Monster Hunter problem, which is like, instead of forcing you into like a tutorial where it's like, oh, this is how you use the Argosy effectively, it just gives you like a full like 3-page paragraph about what you're supposed to do, and no one wants to read that shit, so you're going to skim it and then get it wrong and then get frustrated when it's like, I don't understand how the Argosy works.
Do you know what I just realized we didn't write down as part of the news? The Resident Evil thing.
I didn't watch it. The showcase?
I didn't watch it either, but apparently the things that were announced is they're doing like 3 demos that come out at weird times for PlayStation only. But the more important thing is that there's an Oculus exclusive RE4 port. A new RE4 just dropped.
Yeah,
but it actually looks really good.
It looks good. It's just so dumb.
Yeah.
That they do that. Like, it's
well,
not
listen,
like
Facebook cash spends well, man. Like it
is, but it's just like they're gonna get the money. It's fine, but it's not gonna get in the hands of that many people because I think Oculus has like 50% of the VR market, but that's them. I believe you can't use like I can't use my index for Oculus games.
No, but you can use your Oculus for a lot of Steam VR games. Apparently, like the Oculus is probably the best.
Steam VR works with every single one of them, but Oculus, it was like, oh no, it will only work with Facebook.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like Oculus will work with Steam as well. Like you can play Steam games on it too.
Yeah,
but like you can't. They don't work the other way around.
Well, to me, it's like how Xbox will be like, hey, this game's an Xbox exclusive, but if you have a PC, you can play it, where PlayStation's over there like, this is a PlayStation exclusive. It will almost, like, very likely never come to PC. Unless
if it comes to PC, it'll be like a year plus later.
Even more. And also, it's like a dead franchise. Well, not on Horizon Zero Dawn, not so much, but Days Gone,
Days Gone. Yeah. But
or actually, they could also be releasing Days Gone on PC as a way of being like, if it sells, then maybe we'll reopen the idea of doing a Days Gone 2. But right now,
I doubt they will, probably due to the fact that it was just like critically disliked.
Yeah.
Like it did commercially decent, but like it wasn't like a sales giant, and like everybody, including myself, who looked at that game said, I'm not paying for that. That shit'll be free in 6 months.
Or also, I'm not paying for that. I don't even like The Last of Us that much, and this is just The Last of Us again, but with
it's not Last of Us. It's open world.
I don't care about
Horizon Zero of us left.
Yeah, I just didn't care. That's about it.
Yeah,
and
but
Sony only wants to make those fucking top
the blockbuster bullshit. Yeah,
games that suck.
Which sucks, man. There'll never be another Knack-esque game.
There will never be like a new Jak and Daxter or a Sly Cooper because everything needs to look like
Naughty Dog wishes they were working on a new Jak and Daxter.
One
they have
guy
no idea.
at Naughty Dog wishes they were working on a new one, but I think Neil Druckmann's in the corner like, yeah, but I didn't write it, so it's not touching my company.
I don't even think, honestly, as much as I like Jack and Dexter, I don't think you could do a new one that would sell that good.
I don't think you could do a new like a Jack and Dexter 4, or I guess I would, or 5, I guess. I think it would just have to be a new game. Or just give it to someone else. Like Naughty Dog is already like, take Crash Bandicoot, get out of here.
It's wild that Ratchet and Clank became the one that managed to survive the console jump from PS2 onwards.
Yeah, well, they didn't really for PS3 because those games didn't sell that well. It's just that people have like a love for Ratchet and Clank.
2 legitimately decent Ratchet and Clanks came out on PS3. Tools of Destruction and A Crack in Time, I think, were both pretty good. It's just like All for One and Full Frontal Assault, and certainly there was one more that also sucked ass.
Yeah, there was like too many on the PS2. Like the game, it ran
there's 4.
Almost its entire life cycle on the
4
PS2.
on the PS2. Yeah,
there was 1, 2, and 3, and then Deadlocked.
And then I guess like the PSP one, Secret Agent Clank and Size Matters.
I played Secret Agent Clank. That one was pretty good.
Yeah, and I played Size Matters, and Size Matters is like basically a PS2 Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
It's like wild how much they could put on the PSP, man.
Yeah.
Whereas like Jack and Daxter only had Daxter on PSP, and that game fucking blows.
I think The Last of Us is their like one game franchise that's been on the most consoles. Well, will be in the future. Because like Crash Bandicoot entirely on the PS. Actually, it was on the PS1 as well, wasn't it?
Crash was on PS1. Naughty Dog only worked on the PS1 ones. They didn't work on the PS2 Crash games.
Oh, okay. Jack and Daxter was entirely on the PS2. Uncharted was on the PS3 and PS4. And The Last of Us is on the PS3 and PS4. With 2 games is on the PS3, the PS4, and I believe there's a PS5 enhanced version coming out.
Of 2 or of because there's the remake also, but
yeah, but like the 2 one, they're literally just going to be like, it's The Last of Us remastered, like they did with The Last of Us 1.
Yeah, I bet you that like the next game I think that Naughty Dog's working on, didn't they say like they're doing a new Uncharted?
Did they?
Isn't that what they said? That Naughty Dog's working on the new Uncharted in that article. I hope not.
I hope so, but I would like them. I don't want
Uncharted's done, dude. There's like 5
No,
games.
I know, but I mean, like you have this whole. It's my same thing with The Last of Us. You have this whole universe. Just fucking do other characters. Try to make someone new who's not like associated or something.
Or maybe do like a sequel to The Lost Legacy, where it's Chloe and
I always thought it would
the
be
character
cool.
who's voiced by a white woman but is a black woman.
Yeah,
whose
Laura
name
Bailey?
I forget. Yeah.
I can't remember the character's name, but she's voiced by Laura Bailey, and Laura Bailey's done that twice now.
Yeah.
Because she voices she voices Abby, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's Abby in The Last of Us.
Who voices the other girl? Ellie's girlfriend.
I have no idea.
Yeah, but
it could be. I think she's Ash.
Ashley Birch?
Ashley Birch, thank you.
She voices her?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I think so.
At least that's, not a white woman.
Yeah.
But I think I said it like years ago on the podcast, because it's been like a decade ago. It's been going on forever. When I first played Uncharted 4, I was like, I think it would be really cool to do an Uncharted, like a new Uncharted, but like have Sam be like the Sully role, and like pick up.
And the daughter, and the daughter's the main character.
I would say I think either the daughter but I think she's like, the fact is, she has a fine life. She doesn't really need to go in the thievery her parents had to have done.
Yeah.
Like where Sam and Drake were like orphans in like the system, and they were like framed for murder and shit when they were kids, and they changed their name because their last name was like Morgan or something, and then they became Sam and Nathan Drake.
Yeah,
but like I'm saying,
the actress who plays their daughter in the ending of Uncharted 4, by the way, is Caitlin Dever, who is one of the leads of Booksmart, and she was also on that Netflix show. I forget what the name of the show was, but it's about her being like a rape victim or whatever, and people not believing her.
Oh, I just think it would be cool if maybe she could be like the Elena of the game, where she just is around, but she's not the
Yeah.
main character.
Maybe the next Uncharted, every Uncharted game, not every, 2 and 3, you spend so much of both those games with another person that I was like, why is this game not co-op?
Which Uncharted?
2 and 3.
Oh yeah, because
And 4, I guess.
you play with Chloe a lot, and then you
Yeah.
play with Elena in the scenes where
Yep.
Chloe's not there, and then
And Sully in scenes when neither of them are there.
Yeah, and then in 3, you start with Sully the whole time, and then you have that other like British dude, like the Cockney guy, who,
Charlie.
Charlie, love him. He just shows up out
Yeah.
of nowhere, and we're expected to care about him. And then there's missions with Chloe and Elena, and then in Uncharted 4, it's like, oh, Sam's here the whole time.
Almost the whole game, yeah.
Yeah.
And then The Lost Legacy, they're both there almost the whole game, even though
That
you play
one
as
should have just
Chloe
been a
most of the
co-op
time.
game.
Yeah. Like a co-op Uncharted would be cool. Or like an Uncharted, or maybe like give Naughty Dog the license to do an Indiana Jones game would be cool. Although somebody
Yeah.
got the license recently. I forget who it was. Maybe it was EA or something, or Respawn. Maybe that's the Respawn game? I don't know.
Oh, fucking, we were wrong.
But,
Ellie's girlfriend is named Dina.
yeah.
She's played by Shannon Woodward.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought Ashley Birch was in that game, though.
I
Maybe she's
thought so
somebody else.
too. Yeah, so I think it would be cool to do all the things we just discussed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, what'd you watch? How was Promising Young Woman?
Promising Young Woman, directed by Emerald Fennell, is an incredible movie that I really loved. And I watched it just the other night, and it's pretty brilliant. I think I would say it's the better of the two movies, but it does suit me more because it's a bit more indie and less like Oscar-y, mainstream-y. Promising Young Woman tells the story of a young woman named Cass, who, after, we meet her 7 years after her friend in college was raped, that she now goes, her current thing is almost like an avenging angel type bit, where she goes to bars and pretends to be too drunk to walk or move, and then see if men try to take her home, and if they try to do anything, and then immediately show off the fact that she is stone cold sober and confront them about what they are doing. It is a very cool take on the rape revenge genre, being like not really one of them at all. What? Why are you looking at me, Ian?
I'm not looking at you. I'm looking
What?
at my son. I don't know. This just sounds like
It's really good. It's a really good
sure.
movie, because that's the beginning of the movie, but then what it winds up.
1 second.
Yep.
I'd want to make sure I didn't zone out here. She
Yep.
goes to bars and acts like she's drunk, and then tries to convince men to take her home.
Not convinced.
So these men
She's
try and take
trying
her
to
home,
see. Yep.
and as like a drunk, see if they are trying to take advantage of a drunk woman, and then reveals that she's not drunk,
Yep.
and like shames them.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, so
Because it's a takedown of the nice guy industrial complex.
it's a funny way of putting it. Okay.
But then like what the main plot of the movie winds up being is like, after she meets somebody who like she went to school with, she decides to get like literal direct revenge on the people who she considers as being like directly responsible, not directly responsible, but responsible for like what happened to her friend. So that includes basically going down the list of a friend who played the, don't sleep around and don't get too drunk and do stuff card at the time, right?
Yeah.
The dean who like investigated and said, nothing's wrong, or we have to give the benefit of the doubt. The lawyer who got the kid off on the court case by like trying to bullshit, or by like convincing her friend to drop the case. And then finally the guy who actually did the deed, as it were. Those are like the main people who she gets back at. Well, at the same time, she has this like love story with Bo Burnham, who is great in this movie. And again, like, the entire cast of this movie is stacked. The filmmaking's brilliant. The writing's great, where at times it can make you smile, and at times it can make your stomach fucking hurt with how tense it gets. It's not super graphic, which I like. Like, it doesn't show anything, and in fact, like, the words rape and sexual assault are never actually used. It spends a lot of time implying it stuff more. Really cool movie. Like, especially as, like, the first feature film directed by Emerald Fennell is incredible. Like, it's super good. I love, like, the color. Of course, everybody has said, like, the best thing one of the best things in the movie is near the end they do like to make this, like, very creepy piece of music. They do a violin cover of Toxic by Britney Spears. It's so good, dude. It's so rad. It's like, I'm sure you can hear it in your brain when it's like, it's like, oh,
I
so
found out
cool.
that Toxic fucking samples shit from a Bollywood movie.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
But yeah, honestly, Promising Young Woman is really good. It's got, again, a stacked cast. Carey Mulligan in the lead. You got Bo Burnham as the romantic lead. You got every rapist in this movie is played by somebody who has played a nice man in another thing. Like, half the cast of Nice Girl, or what, New Girl, is in this movie. You've got
sorry, what?
Half the cast of New Girl is in this movie.
All playing like nice guys.
They're all playing people who are like, you know, rapists, but they like act like they're better than that. Like, they're wholesome, but they're not. They're just as shitty, right? Because it's not really about, like, the violent, aggressive type of person. It's about the nice guy kind of person who's, like, you know. They have a great scene with Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
Oh, Max Greenfield is there.
Yep, Max Greenfield is a fucking huge piece of shit in this movie.
Well, he's Joe McElmore the third, and as we
is
have
that
discussed,
character's name?
Yeah, as
so
we have
funny.
discussed, if you are a third, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So there was someone I found recently who is like a fourth. He was like, yeah, I ain't doing that. Oh, it was Paul Walker.
Oh yeah,
It was Paul William Walker the fourth, or also known as Pablo.
Yeah. James Tynion the fourth is currently writing Batman.
Nice.
But yeah, man, Promising Young Woman is a great movie. It's not going to win any of the Oscars it's nominated for just because it's too fucking out there. But the fact that it's there is cool. Like, it's definitely, like, not more of an Oscar movie. It's way more of, like, an indie movie. But the fact that it got, like, the level of buzz that it did is super good because it deserves it.
Yeah. What the fuck is up with Alison Brie's name?
What?
I was like, I'm on.
Oh yeah, Alison Brie's in this, and so is Alfred Molina.
But like, so I clicked on her name. I like hovered over her name on Wikipedia. It gave me the short thing, and the picture on her Wikipedia just doesn't look like her for some reason. Like, at a glance, like, I just looked over. I'm like, that doesn't look like who she is. But her real name is Alison Brie Skirmerhorn.
Oh.
She just cut out the last part because Alison Brie sounds better. So I was like, is this the same woman? But then I'm looking at her credits, and it's like Mad Men, Community, BoJack Horseman, Glow, and she's married to Dave Franco. So I was like, oh yeah, this is Alison Brie.
Yeah,
just a very weird picture of her.
She's in this movie. She does a good job. I thought she'd be in more of it, like, just in my brain, but no, she's the friend who's like who is a shithead.
Oh,
like,
she
when the
uses,
whole thing went down.
She does give off that vibe sometimes.
Yeah.
She uses a fucking Bree is her middle name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Skirmerhorn is her last name. I thought it was one of those things where it was like Bree was her mother's last name and she just chose one instead of them both, but
no.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, Promising Young Woman is a great movie. Recommend it to everybody. If you're a woman and you watch it with a man, you watch it with a gun to his head. Because it's taking down the guy who thinks he's a decent guy, even though he's friends with or is like a shitty dude.
What
right?
The fuck?
What?
Alison Brie was in Weathering with You.
Yeah, she was. She was in the dub. She was like,
Yeah.
she was like the
She's
friend.
the main girl. Oh no, she's the hot girl.
Yeah.
She's like the one who's like works and is just hot and has big boob.
Yeah, not a bad choice. I think she's
oh yeah, she was good.
Yeah.
Actually, no, we saw that movie in Japanese. So I actually
We did see it in Japanese, but I'm just saying probably a decent choice.
Probably decent. Yeah, because voice actors are like, it's dumb to cast like non-voice actors in voice actor roles, but the line's starting to blend a little easier.
Yeah.
Or blur. That's what I mean. Like, because if you go back and watch like some of the older Ghibli dubs, it's like, wow, these people really suck at acting with only their voice.
Yeah.
They really should get like real voice actors in there. But now
what do you
it's
mean,
like they're
Christian Bale?
Christian Bale. Who else? Fucking.
I still like
Tommy
the
Lee
dubs
Jones?
though.
Oh, I'll watch them. Like I'm not gonna be
still
like
them a
ew.
lot.
It's not like me with fucking old Dragon Ball Z.
I like my favorite Ghibli is Castle in the Sky. Personally, like I know it's not the best one, but it was kind of like my first one that I cared about.
Yeah, my favorite's Mononoke, and that's a pretty easy thing to say.
It's great.
Also, I haven't seen all of them.
I've seen most, or not all the Ghibli movies, but all the I've seen like a lot of Miyazaki's. I still haven't seen Nausicaa.
Me neither. I've seen Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, Totoro, Mononoke, Kiki's Delivery Service, which is a lot older than I remember getting in the car. You came to pick me up after I watched it, and I talked nothing but shit on it, and I was like, actually, never mind. I like this movie.
Yeah, like you're like now that I think about it, you're like, yeah.
Yeah, but that's a movie more for like 12. That's like a 12-year-old girl movie. That's exactly what it is. It's like a girl discovering like she does like boys and stuff, but then going through like the growing up period of like things I used to enjoy, I don't enjoy anymore, and I've lost the love for it. But it's like then she meets with like this painter in the forest, and she's just like this manic pixie dream girl shit, and she just goes like, sometimes you just have to, you'll hate things, but you actually, if you come back around to it, it means you actually do love it, or some bullshit.
I liked when Marnie
seen
was
Castle
there.
in the Sky like 3 times because I kept forgetting that I've seen it.
I love that movie, man. Like even the dub, like you got Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill's great.
Yeah, what's the other one? The Lupin one that's not called like
Castle
Lupin.
of Cagliostro.
Yeah.
That movie's fucking great. I love that movie.
There's tons of these I should like get around to watching. It's just that Ghibli movies are so slow and like nothing happens.
Yeah, I liked
except for the Castle of Cagliostro and Mononoke.
Yeah,
Spirited Away. It's like it just feels like she just is in a panic
Castle
the whole
in the
time,
Sky.
and then her parents come back.
Castle, yeah, Spirited Away is slow, but like Castle in the Sky moves at a fucking clip because it's a movie about grabbing a girl's hand and running from like the government.
Yeah.
So like,
My Neighbor Totoro is so slow.
Totoro's slow as fuck, but it's good. I like Totoro a lot.
Howl's Moving Castle is also just like shit just happens for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
Howl's Moving Castle is like, look at this cool universe.
Yeah.
We're not going to explore it.
Howl's Moving Castle is great. I like the romance part of Howl's Moving Castle. I really like.
Yeah. It's like a weird master-servant relationship. It's so
but
odd.
It goes in reverse order at the end, so it's okay.
Yeah, I don't understand why she was cursed to look like an old woman, but I think it's really funny that she becomes an old woman. She's like, well, I guess I gotta live like this till I die, which could be any day now. And I like the reverse aging thing she goes through, like when her hair is like white and she's looking young again. I'm like, oh god, you're fucking gorgeous, Sophie.
Yeah, and then I saw Ponyo like when it was new, and I didn't get it because I was like, it was like 2008.
Yeah.
And then I didn't
Billy
watch
Crystal was Calcifer, which is weird, considering Billy Crystal, like he's already voice acted as Mike Wazowski, and that was a good time he did. But
is he the fire?
He's the fire, Calcifer. Yeah, and he's just not good in this.
No.
Josh Hutcherson was Markle.
Yeah.
And this was in like 2003. 2004.
Yeah.
Child actor shit.
And like I always like to recommend like the lesser known Ghibli stuff, which is like Secret World of Arrietty. I liked, and when Marnie was there, I love because it's like when Marnie was there gaslights you into thinking it's a queer movie, but then it's not.
Yeah, well,
Or I guess it
you're
gaslights you out of thinking it's a queer movie.
You're never
You're
gonna
like,
get them from these because like
it's like the entire movie is like, yes, this is a gay love story, and then the ending is like, psych, motherfucker.
yeah.
It was her mom.
I kind of want to watch Earwig and the Witch, but like, God, these reviews make it look so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard it was just
4.
like okay for a
Yeah.
movie. Same with like Tales of Earthsea is the worst one, but
Well,
I've heard
it's
good things
by-
of from Up on Poppy Hill.
It's by Goro Miyazaki, so
Yeah.
like
The son that
the son that Hayao
Have you
keeps talking.
Did you
shit
watch
on.
the documentary?
No, because honestly, I think Hayao Miyazaki is like has made a really good career, but he just seems like a piece of shit to work with.
That's why the documentary is good.
Yeah. Like today, also
Because
like,
a good chunk of that documentary is him screaming at Goro for how he fucked up Tales from Earthsea, and Goro's like, "I wanted to be a carpenter."
That's funny. Actually, I wanted to be a carpenter.
Or I don't know if it was a carpenter, but he's like wanted like a normal ass job, and then it's like, no, you're gonna direct fucking movies.
Oh yeah, you're gonna follow in my footsteps. This is gonna be like the Miyazaki family tradition.
So funny.
Like, oh great.
Yeah, of course. Like the second he dies, the studio's dead.
Yeah, because he keeps trying to fucking hand it over like to his own kid, and it's like no, just fucking like there's other people there who can do the job.
Yeah, the guy. Well, a lot of people left Ghibli a few years ago. That's why like the guy who does the backgrounds for a lot of Ghibli movies worked on Made in Abyss, which is why that movie or why that show's so visually good backgrounds.
Yeah.
And the guy who directed like When Marnie Was There and Secret World of Arrietty did what's that name? Mary and the Last Witch or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is like he started a completely new thing, but it's like very Ghibli-esque. But yeah. And that's what's going to happen with Naughty Dog. Fucking mark my words.
What do you mean?
Because everybody left Naughty Dog, and they're all going to be doing their own similar shit,
yeah.
but where it's not shitty.
Where it's like, oh, we can work here.
Yeah.
And we don't have to deal with Neil Druckmann anymore, coming in and being like, hello, it's me, Dr. Uckman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, Promising Young Woman, 9 out of 10. I like that movie a lot. Maybe even 9.5.
That's real cool for you.
You should check it out, Ian. It's cool.
You know I won't. I don't watch movies anymore. All I do is watch Marvel movies and the same anime movie I've already seen.
Wait, you've already seen this movie?
Which one?
The movie that you watched this week.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Wait, which one? Promare?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen that one. That was actually the first time I watched it. I was just
How'd you like it?
Well, I wasn't going to talk about it yet, so we'll save that
sorry.
for. Actually, you know what? I guess you don't have any fucking thing else except for Falcon and Winter Soldier. So yeah, I played Apex. I'll go through quickly. They're doing an event right now. We talked about it last week. God, it's so fun.
Yeah.
The weird way of playing the game. The last 2 days have kind of sucked because they were the first day they had these this game type where every time you died, or every game you went into, you had a full respawn already.
Okay.
Like you played Apex before, right?
Yeah.
Like a long time ago. Yeah, they had like the system where you could like go over and respawn your friends if you grabbed their banner, which then Warzone and Fortnite took.
Yep.
Now they had one for this event where you would die, and then you would just instantly spawn above where you died, and you got to redeploy with your full gear and at full health and everything, with like full armor. So the fights were so long. I won like the first game I played. Oh no, it was like the second game I played of it, because we got to the end. There was 7 teams in the final circle.
Holy shit.
That's 21 people in like a fucking house. And it very quickly started to drop as the circle came in, and it was like me and my teammates were there at the end. We played like it's safe until like the final encounter, and we got there, and the guys killed us and they were left alive, but we all still had our fucking respawns. So we all died, and then we spawned up top and we're like deploying back in, and then the enemy just died there instead. And that was cool. Like it adds a new layer to the game because it's like, oh, I get in a fight. If I lose the fight, I can leave. Like I can redeploy and get out of there, or I can go back down and like try and finish them off because maybe we already have them. We know they're on their last legs. And then the next event they had was you had armor regen after 15 seconds of being out of or 15 seconds of not getting hit. You would start to regenerate all of your armor, and that just forced you to play the game more aggressively, and that was fun. Nothing really special happened about that one. But then we got the triple hot zones. Yeah, there was more loot that was like epic and legendary, and it was easier to get shit if you got a hot zone that no one else dropped to for some reason. But it's just Apex. It's the same game. Nothing changes. Except when you're in the hot zone, you get a health and ammo regeneration after like 10 seconds of not getting hit. So if you dropped in the hot zone, it would be interesting. But if you dropped anywhere else, it was the same game.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a new one today I haven't played yet because I woke up at like 2 and then I just hung around and talked to my mom for a while. So yeah, I want to check it out later tonight. And then after last Saturday, right after the podcast finished, I watched Promare, Trigger's movie from 2019, directed by Hiroyuki Imaishi. Thank you, Nathan, for writing that in. That movie is so gay.
Nice, dude.
That is the crux of the movie. Is that it's like a butch and a twink, or no, a bear and a twink.
So
actually, he's more like an otter.
Okay.
And a twink get together to beat the shit out of a guy who's like, hey, the planet's going to explode. We're going to get on Noah's Ark and leave for a planet like light years away. But to do it, we need to harvest your flaming gay energy to be able to travel that far. But then like this other scientist who the main antagonist killed like years before was like, actually, if you do that, it'll destroy the ship and the entire planet if you try.
So how did you like the closest thing we'll ever get to a follow-up to Gurren Lagann?
I think it's a 7.5 out of 10 because Trigger has a big problem and they are not that creative anymore. Everything is the same as everything else. The final fight...
Do you know, I liked Gridman. I think Gridman was pretty cool.
Yeah, Gridman is cool because it's based around like their like actual love of that type of like shit from when they were kids. And then they put a darker spin on it.
But I like how all the monsters are... I like how all the monsters are animated in such a way that like they look like they could be humans in suits.
Yeah.
It's such like a good touch.
And actually, I think they, for some of them, they are like that kid who she like puts the power into, who turns into it. Yeah. So, but the end of Promare is the same as the end of Brand New Animal.
I didn't finish Brand New Animal.
Okay, I'm gonna fucking spoil it then.
Because like Brand New Animal was like decent, but it was okay.
You know, like the rich guy who was like trying to fuck up all the Beastmen? Or like he was acting like he was an ally? Well, it turns out he is also a giant mystical wolf man like how Shiro is.
But he can turn into a human?
He can turns into a giant 3-headed golden wolf that can fire fucking like laser beams out of its face, but when it's in its wolf form, it looks like the star glasses at the end of Gurren Lagann that Simon wears. Okay. Because those always come back. And then that's the thing with Promare is it turns out the fucking villain is also a fireman. like like the main bad like guy. The other one, the gay kid. No. The I think his name's Leo something. I'm just gonna look at Leon Promare. Leo, like Lio, and like he has this fire power that he can use, and they're called like burning people, and they are immortal but they have to set things on fire or else they die. They are like mutants in the X-Men universe.
Okay.
Where there's like a certain portion of the people can do it, and everyone hates them that can do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So Promare just feels super gay the whole time.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. And the character design is great. Everyone's very pretty. The art direction is like gorgeous, but just the story is so similar to everything else they've ever done. I think Trigger has like the same 3 things that always show up, and it's like The
Well,
final
I think
boss
maybe it's
is just
specifically
like the
maybe it's
protagonist.
specifically Imaishi. You
Yeah,
could say, because it's his works are very similar. He's the guy who did Gurren Lagann. He's the guy who did Kill la Kill. He did what's the Space Patrol Lilico,
yeah, that's a good
and
show
then
as well.
and then this.
Yeah, so like, oh, and he also directed Gurren Lagann and shit. He did
Yeah.
Painting and Stalking as well. Like, there's just
Yeah.
tons. Everything he does, it feels like he's trying to be like, oh, it's a callback, and it's like, no, it's not an Easter egg or a callback. It's like a direct rip.
Yeah, like he has a very consistent set of interests.
Yeah, like Ichiban going through the same story arcs as like Kiryu does in Yakuza 1
That's
is
like
a
yeah.
callback.
Right, but it's
But
it's a
if the
callback.
final-
It's an homage.
And also, I think isn't oh no, Ichiban is voiced by Nishiki's voice actor.
Yeah, Nishiki's voice actor. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's like that's an Easter egg. But like if it turned out that the final like if there was a scene where Ryo Aoki like slicks his hair back with the blood of the man he just killed, I'd be like, oh okay, it's the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like beat for beat. But yeah, so fucking dude needs to step aside or let the some other writers take. But he should definitely still work with art direction because God, that movie is gorgeous to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's my week. Except
I think
for
the thing is I think the thing is that like I think he's done so much good shit. Right?
Yeah.
Like I think Gurren Lagann and Kill la Kill, like even though they both have like obviously from a modern standpoint some questionable content,
yeah,
I
like
think
how
they're
fucking
both-
Yoko is 14 years old.
yeah, I think both those shows are like fucking super high tier. Like some of my true favorites.
And also, like, it has some like Leron and Gurren Lagann, like, is a
Yeah.
caricature of a gay man, but he's also the most capable character in the entire show.
and he's Steve Bloom in dub,
Yeah,
and he's
it's
great. Like,
it's very well done. It's just
and I think
mildly offensive.
both shows are super rad. I think they not only just like are they awesome, cool anime. I think they both have like legitimately decent stories that
Yeah.
are like impactful and characters that are
Except for
impactful.
I don't really like the second. I think the second part of Gurren Lagann is like incredibly hype, but it's so lacking compared to the rest.
It's not as good as the first half. I would still say it's good.
Yeah.
I think you could say the same thing about Kill la Kill.
Yeah,
Second half not quite as good as the first half, but I
once
think
Satsuki is dealt with, and then it turns out
Yeah.
that like there's a whole like evil
Nudist
clothing revolution.
beach.
Yeah, nudist beach. Once they like fully show up as like a thing, I'm like, wow, this kind of sucks.
Yeah,
No, it doesn't suck. It's just not as good.
it's less good. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'd still say both shows as a whole quite good shows.
Also, the best part about Gurren Lagann and Kill la Kill is that once those shows are done, they are over. There's no point of going back and doing more.
Unless you play Kill la Kill if the fighting game,
Yeah, sure. But I mean, just
which
like
I think is technically a sequel.
it's like a side quill where it's like, yeah, that happens, but who cares if it happens or not?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense because Ryoko's like Goku Fushido shit is dead. The life fibers don't exist anymore because they were all destroyed. It's just doesn't work for it to keep happening. I think Brand New Animal is like the one where I'm like, let's get a second season because like they don't finish the story.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Well, they finished like they beat up the
I know
final
they're
boss,
doing-
but there's still the fucking racism in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't finish either that show nor SSSS Gridman, but I think
Me
Gridman
neither.
is getting a follow-up.
It had it. It's out.
It's out?
Yeah, it's something like Dino Man or some shit. SSS.
Or I think it's maybe different letters. or
Dino's
something.
Neon. It's by
Oh, yeah.
Trigger.
Oh, okay. So then it's still so that's coming
And
out
it is
now,
the
or it's
series
already out.
sequel. I think it's aired. Oh, it's currently airing. It just started. Episode 3 comes out on Monday.
Okay. The World Ends With You anime, by the way, is
Yeah.
currently airing right now, and I want to watch it.
Oh no, it came out yesterday. I'm bad at math.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is like like a side. Like it's. I don't think the same characters show up again.
Oh, so it's not a true sequel?
It's a series sequel, but it's not like a continuation of the story.
Oh, okay. So like,
there's a subset of characters called Kaiju Eugenesis.
damn.
Yeah.
Well, at least they're tackling the big questions.
Eugenics?
Yeah.
Holy
They're bad.
shit. Yeah, I gotta send you this character design.
I'm assuming that their POV is that eugenics is bad.
Yeah. This dude's the main character.
Oh, I didn't know it was a fucking hot boy summer over here.
Oh, you mean White Boy Summer? Well, he's the top of the
White
main
Boy
character list.
Damn.
Actually, Yomogi Asano.
I love the idea of like wearing a scarf instead of a shirt.
Yeah. Okay, I think this kid's actually the main character. That dude just comes first, like in the
Because he's
casting.
cooler. Yeah, this guy has main character in an anime vibes of being
because he's very
almost
plain.
completely boring.
Yeah.
I thought that was one thing that like.
All right, let's see the underage waifu that someone's simping over.
Yeah, the waifus in Gridman were good.
Okay, this one's a little more like tame compared to the other one.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a big sweater on. It's a very cute look.
Yeah, like the weird, like kind of alt girl from season 1. Everybody was like,
well, it's because the
shit.
fucking director came out and it was like, oh, when we were designing the character, he kept saying make her thicker.
yeah. I mean, like, I'm not saying that was wrong necessarily.
Yeah.
Character's a good visual design. Anyway, let's talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I wrote notes. Here, I'm going to open up with my fun fact about Falcon and Winter Soldier. And
Okay,
it's
what's your fun
related to
fact?
Fast 9. Do you remember the trailer for Falcon and Winter Soldier?
I did.
Do you remember the song that's in it?
No, I forget.
The song is You Ready by Migos. And it's featured in the Fast 9 trailer and the trailer for Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Damn.
Yeah. And this fact is contributed by... what the fuck did I mean with this? I wrote MHJ. So by I wrote this with Stevie in the call, so like because I've been pissing him off recently by calling him Simpin' Steve.
Oh.
So I said MHJ superfan Simpin' Steve.
What's MHJ? And now I'm gonna have to
I don't know.
Google
I
it.
was drunk.
Okay.
Oh man. Well, Stevie fucking at DM me and tell me what I meant by that. Yeah. So
maybe you were trying to call him Mr. Handjob.
you know what? That's his name. Mr. Handjob.
That's
Super Simpin' Steve.
Yeah, that's Stevie's code name
Yeah.
as the leader of the fan club for this show is Mr. Handjob.
Yeah. All right.
But write out the word Mr. Do not abbreviate it. Don't put Mr. Dot. It's Mister. Put some respect on that fucking name, okay?
Yeah.
He's a Mr. Handjob.
Yeah.
Handjob hyphenated, of course, as always.
All right. So Falcon and Winter Soldier. We open up the episode where we left off in the last episode.
Yeah, that's right. Captain America's running somewhere.
He runs into a hole where he has the shield, and it's still covered in blood, and he puts it down, and he does a big scream because he murdered a man in cold blood.
But he didn't actually feel bad about it.
Yeah, well, he feels justified for doing it.
Yeah, and then Sam and Bucky show up, and they get in a big fight, and I'm like...
And I wrote, this is the first note I wrote, which was, get him, boys.
Yeah. Well, and what was going through my brain is like, obviously this fight is more intense because they wanted it to be. But I was like, you could kick this guy's ass, no problem. The two of you put together.
Yeah, well,
this shouldn't be a fight.
Sam is trained against how to fight against super soldiers. John Walker was just a maid. He was like a
obviously he is a super soldier, but
he's a super soldier, but he's not.
So is Bucky.
So is Bucky, and Bucky's a trained killer and has been at it for like over 100 years.
Bucky versus John. I'm giving that fight to Bucky 1-on-1.
Yeah,
Bucky and like Sam versus John. Let's maybe we'll go one way or another, but together, no, they should have rocked his shit.
Yeah, and also them like almost taking Bucky out of the fight for like a bit by throwing him into like a pillar, which like short.
broke. The fact that his hand got fucked up, I was like, his hand's
That shouldn't have happened. He's punched through cement. How does hitting a steel beam break his arm?
Yeah, this is super weird.
But I think they just wanted to have like a show of like, look, even though Sam is weaker, he's more powerful because he knows how to fight. Like he's more technical. And like, yeah. So anyways, they beat the shit out of him. They take the shield. Sam like rubs it. Well, Bucky just kind of like walks away and leaves the shield next to him.
For Sam, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Sam tries to wipe the blood off. Yeah. There's a line. We get the first line from John Walker of "I am Captain America," a line he says multiple times in this episode.
Also, we get to see him get his arm fucking broken.
Oh yeah, that was fucked. That was great.
Yeah, that was I was like, man, did they just break his arm? And then the next scene, his like arm's still there, he's still moving it, but the bone is like poking out, but it's like covered by the suit, and I was like, oh, that's gross.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah,
the first thing I thought was that they might have cut his fucking hand off for a second. I was like, damn.
No, that'd be too violent.
Would have been sick.
You just get like a hook hand and then just gore people with it.
That'd be rad.
Yeah. So then we cut to what does it go to his hearing about how they're stripping him of his title?
Is that the next thing that happens?
I kind of like left out a bunch. Like I just started writing. I wrote my notes and then I like looked away and then like it was just watching and things were happening.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, maybe that's the next thing that happens.
Yeah. So, you know what? I think there's the scene as well where they cut to the Flag Smashers and they are now like officially labeled as terrorists.
Right.
By like the. What's it called? The repatriation?
GRC.
The GRC. The global repatriation.
Right, yes. They go back to the place where they were staying before, where all those people were that we saw in the previous episode, where everybody loved them, and that they'd all been taken away. Yeah.
Sam gets grounded.
The wings get ripped off.
Yeah, the wings get fucked up. He leaves them with Torres, because I think the scene with them and Torres in the camp happens first. Then Bucky shows up, and then Torres says, "Hey, you got your sleeve back," because in the second episode, Bucky just rips the sleeve off of his coat for some reason.
So to show off his arm, dude.
Yeah, I think it's to just be like, it's practical for him because he uses the arm and like to stop himself and move around a lot. It was probably like, I don't want the fabric to get in the way. Like obviously the arm is more powerful and would just tear through it. He's like, there's no point. Boop.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think maybe so they do the scene where we see like the Flag Smashers are
they're all mad,
being fucking harassed.
This is
for
a
legitimate
very
reasons.
Flag Smasher light episode.
Yeah, well, a lot of the Flag Smasher storyline was edited out of the show because it had to deal with like a virus storyline.
Oh, did they change it because
they had to change a lot of it. They edited
didn't want
it out.
To do
they
COVID stuff.
Cut a lot of stuff. Yeah. Like the woman who plays Mama Donye was like supposed to actually have a character, and like she gets sick. It's not tuberculosis that kills her. It's this fake disease or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess that is possible for like 5 years to pass, and then like people come back and they don't have like the antibodies that like people would develop over 5 years, and then any new viruses out would actually hurt them. It's why travel doesn't really work.
These people are people who were there for 5 years that are sick in the refugee camps.
Okay, that is weird then. I would put it
it's just a virus. It's just a virus was going around like a regular virus does. It's not like trying to say anything about the world. It's just like, virus the same way COVID happened. Like it's just a fucking virus.
Yeah.
They happen.
Yeah. So they have a scene and then they're gone for the rest of the episode till the end. Or no, actually until Batroc shows back up.
Yeah, that's pretty much the end of the app.
Yeah. And for them. Yeah, so now we get to go. We watch fucking John Walker get dressed down, and then say,
Torres gets the wings.
Yeah, he leaves the wings with Torres, so Torres will probably be the new Falcon.
Yep.
And Sam will just be
Captain America.
You know what? I'm just thinking of that one scene from the third episode. I think actually is Isaiah Bradley in the third or the second episode?
Second.
The scene where he walks past that kid and he's like, "Hey, it's Black Falcon." He's like, "It's just Falcon." He's like, "My daddy says you Black Falcon." He's like, "Are you Black Kid then?" And I just thought of what if so fucking Torres walks by.
What, they're gonna call him
just
Brown
like,
Falcon?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's mildly racist thing I just thought
Hispanic,
of. Yeah.
Latinx Falcon.
And he's just like, I'd rather you just call me a slur at that point.
Yeah.
I'd rather you call me a fucking S word. Is that that's a Latin one? Yeah?
That's a slur. It's not.
I know it's a
for
slur, but I
Latinx
mean, like, it's
people.
for Latin people.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, John Walker, dressing down time. He tries to defend him, to justify himself, and they say, we don't fucking care because we're the U.S. government, and clearly we do what we want.
Yeah, and then he drops the most poignant line of the scene, which is "You made me."
Yeah.
His whole valid.
Yeah, his whole thing is he's a soldier, and soldiers are brainwashed to love America. Do not at me about that.
Well, on top of that,
we have a friend.
Not even that.
We have a friend in the reserves of Canada, and we talked about like the conditioning shit they do, and he was like, "Yeah, I honestly joined for money and for like job opportunities, but if we were to go to war right now across the sea, I'd probably sign up."
Yeah.
And he was like a dude who was like, I'd never actually do that. And then he comes back from training. He's like, I would absolutely go in a heartbeat. Mm-hmm. Like, so there is, there's conditioning to be like, you have to love your country. So John Walker.
But on top of that, they train you to do murder.
Yes.
And he has now done murder.
Yeah.
The thing that they've trained him to do and gave him awards to do.
Yeah. He is criticizing the U.S. government. But saying, I don't know. He's not saying much. He's just being like, fuck you guys. You trained me to do this. And they're like, nah, not like that. You're not supposed to kill. That dude was a bit too close to white. We know he wasn't, but he was too close. So
well, I think he might have been. He's French.
Yeah, French people have no rights. Yeah, so then he goes and he talks to his wife, who I did not expect that to be his wife. I expected like a blonde, like a white.
Well, she showed up in episode 2.
Yeah, I wasn't really paying attention to that.
Okay.
Well, she was just there. They didn't say it was his wife.
Yeah, no, she's like, babe, I love you, or whatever. Like, I don't know. She said there's some, like, clear shit where it's his wife or girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really get that back then, but I just think it's funny that it wasn't, like, an Aryan woman.
No, the whole point is that, remember, there's, like, a whole thing where he's, like, appropriating black culture is kind of the bit where it's like the song he comes out is, like, a HBCU song. Like he's got a black wife, he's got the black best friend, but he's white.
She was like more Latino, but yeah, sure,
or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the thing people on TikTok pointed out. I wouldn't think
surprised about who interrupts their conversation.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
That's
baby.
Exactly how I wrote it here. I wrote like Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and it has like an exclamation and question mark, and I had to Google it because I don't normally see her with her hair up. She didn't look like Luann from Seinfeld.
I love that she's the big cameo that was teased.
Yeah, I went and
she's
looked
playing.
Up this character.
She's playing Madam Hydra.
Yeah. Also has a long fake name.
Yeah, like Countess something or other.
Yeah. I went and looked up that character, and like the first time I saw that picture, I was like, "Whoa, this is perfect casting." Yeah. So now instead of playing a good politician on Veep, now she's a villain.
Yeah. One of the big things about this that's interesting that like kind of went revealed is this is why they tried to push this show back past Black Widow coming out. Is she's in Black Widow?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this might be the only bit we see of her in this show, but we're going to see more of her.
I think there's going to be a thing at the end because she says, "Yeah, the best thing you did in life." Oh no, the second best thing you did in life was marry this woman. He says this little firecracker over here.
No, so she's doing a great bit here. She's like, the second best thing you did was like pick up the shield or whatever. Right.
I think she says,
and then she says the first best thing, tied with marrying this little bombshell, is to call me.
No, is to answer my call when I call you. So I think at the there's John Walker's gonna get defeated and like pushed off to being like an outlaw.
He's gonna be a U.S. agent.
Yeah, he's going to be like hired by her in like a post-credit sequence where she's like, "All right, now you're gonna work for me because now like you're officially off the books as like an American representative." Like kind of doing the shit. He's gonna be like another like what they used Black Widow for S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what's going on is that maybe she's going to try to form the Thunderbolts or a bad guy team. One or the other.
I think it's going to be a bad guy team, and John Walker's going to be like the evil Captain America.
Well, Thunderbolts is kind of like a bad guy team, but like they're working for the good guys, sort of like a Suicide Squad-esque vibe. Yeah. But Thunderbolt's obviously named after Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, and one of the reasons why I think that is they explicitly, when they take Zemo away later in the episode, they say to take him to the Raft, which is the prison that's being run by Thunderbolt Ross.
Oh. Are they supposed to... okay, so apparently they're a superhero team.
Yeah. But it's like...
reformed supervillains.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. That's a good setup that they did.
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing.
Now we got Zemo at the thing.
Yes. So
the Sokovian Memorial, and he's like has this whole thing, and he's like, "I won't kill you anymore," or some shit.
Yeah, Bucky's like, "I'm gonna kill you." Just fucking kidding, bitch. I gotcha.
The gun is empty. I could still rip your spine out with my hands, though. Not even the metal one. I forget sometimes that it's metal. Yeah, I don't know. I thought this like little spot they made, like that statue was CG, right?
Yeah, it wasn't real.
Yeah, there was some things like
or it's a prop, or it's before. Like a fake prop.
It just looked questionable. Like I could tell that it was like added in there.
Yeah. It could just be like a prop where it's like supposed to look like a stone statue, but it's made out of plastic. That could also be the case. That was also the vibe I was kind of getting.
Whatever. It was a small scene, and it's there.
Yeah. Then of course he hands him over to the Wakandans. That was a good little scene. Bucky proving himself.
That he's not going to kill him, and he gets arrested.
Not gonna kill anybody.
I thought it was weird that they sent him to the Raft and not like a Wakandan prison.
That's super weird. That's one of the things that I also thought was weird. But that's why I'm like, this is for a reason, and that reason is Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing that proved it kind of to me, because I was like, why not take him to Wakanda?
There's no Hawkeye as a member of the Thunderbolts?
Yeah, because he's been a bad guy sometimes, sort of.
Yeah, well, he was kind of a bad guy.
When he was Ronin, yeah.
Yeah. Not a lot of these characters that are in the Thunderbolts have shown up in the show so far. Ant-Man!
Yeah. Well, there was an evil Ant-Man, yeah.
Eric O'Grady.
Yeah. He's evil. He used his Ant-Man powers.
Yelena Belova, Black Widow.
Yep, Black Widow.
Is that the one that is playing...
it's Florence Pugh, yeah.
Yeah, Florence Pugh is playing? Yeah, so then she's probably also going to be there. Yeah, okay. That's cool that they did that. So moving on. Zemo is arrested.
Yep. And
Sam's going to go talk to Isaiah Bradley, but he'll actually have like a good conversation instead of it just being like, "Get out of my house!"
Yeah, well, we get a little bit of time. We get like... the actor playing Eli Bradley gets a couple lines this episode finally.
Yeah.
And then he meets up with Isaiah Bradley in what is like probably one of the most poignant things in Marvel ever.
If you ain't bitter, you're blind.
Yeah. Like some of that, like that scene was really wonderful. We finally got a little bit more of Isaiah and like actual backstory stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question. Mm-hmm. Was Isaiah Bradley's platoon, like his comrades, were they also all black dudes?
Yes. So in the comics, it was actually like 200 black soldiers were taken to be experimented on, and the super soldier serum like fucked them all up. A lot of them died, and a lot of them, had to deal with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and they said he was dead, and then his wife was sending him letters or whatever, and he never got them.
So the reason why he went to jail in the comics is when he got sent on a mission to go into Nazi Germany, because he was actually like the first Captain America in his story. If you read his story is called Truth, Red, White, and Black. So he went to Nazi Germany to destroy a facility, and it turns out that facility is part of the Nazi super soldier program, because it was actually one project across the US and Germany, but until like Germany became Nazi Germany, right?
Yeah. And this one, it was that a bunch of his soldiers had been kidnapped, and
In
that
Korea.
he wanted, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna bomb the POW camp," and he was like, "Fuck that, I'm gonna go save my boys." And then they arrested him for disobeying orders or something.
So in the comics, when he goes on that mission, he steals a Captain America costume that they had set for Steve. And then he does the mission, he gets kidnapped, he meets Hitler, and then Hitler tries to recruit him, and he goes, "Fuck no, my wife would kill me." And then he gets out, and having completed the mission, but he gets sentenced to jail for 30 years for stealing the Cap uniform.
Yeah.
And then he's experimented on and all that nasty shit. And the thing that they didn't keep for this show is that, like, between the prison and, like, the serum, he does get, like, kind of what Steve does, where he doesn't really age, but his, like, mind has regressed to that of a child. Like, he's, like, mentally like, developed, like, an issue. And then, like, he gets confined to a wheelchair as, like, an older man. And so they didn't keep that for the show so that he would be able to tell his story, which I think is a good choice. But they kind of, like, it's not quite even as, like, rough as the comic, but it's still quite good.
So then he has the line where he says to Sam, "No self-respecting black man would put on the Captain America suit or whatever, or would become Captain America."
He's like, they would never let a black man be Captain America.
Yeah, but then he also says,
even if they did, no self-respecting black man would wear it, knowing all the shit he knows.
And I just wrote,
America.
I guess Sam has no self-respect.
I guess so.
Yeah, but also there was a thing later on, when Bucky's sleeping on the couch and the kids are, like, playing around with the shield.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I think it just shows, like, but the kids don't really see it from that perspective. If they knew the truth, they might, but it's also just, like, being Captain America.
Well, that's the point. It's not saying that Isaiah Bradley's right. It's saying that that's how Isaiah Bradley feels about it, right? And he has every right to feel that way.
Yeah. So, but it's kind of like, Black Panther and shit. When, like, that came out and, like, black kids everywhere were like, "Oh my god, finally.
Yeah.
Something for us."
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, it's whatever. And then, Sam goes back to his hometown.
We go from the darkest scene of the entire show with the Isaiah Bradley stuff to some of the most fun shit. Let's fix the boat montage
sequence. And
it's
Sebastian Stan shows up as well, and everyone's like, "Ooh, white boy.
I'm gonna flirt with your sister."
Oh god, I love that.
It's Mr. Steal Your Sister, dude.
Yeah. And when he fucking walks over as, like, the thing's, like, going off, and he like takes the wrench and uses it, and then he goes like, "Why don't you just use the arm?" And he's like, "I forget that it's there sometimes. I'm right-handed. I don't always think of it. Funny. I'm right-handed." Is so funny. It's, like, the best.
That's so funny.
Yeah. And then I wrote Uncle Buck, implying that Bucky was gonna fuck Sarah and, like, go forward in that relationship, and then he's just like the kid's uncle.
That's funny. That's great.
And then the most disgusting thing happened.
What?
They drank Heineken. Is that even, like, a black beer?
I don't know.
No.
Do you think that's something I would have in my brain?
No, definitely not.
I don't know. Weezer mentions Heineken in one of their songs. So maybe that's a point against.
Yeah.
That's a point against. If somebody can find, like, a rap song by a guy that mentions it positively, then I guess it'll even out. But
so then after we had the boat montage and then fixing everything.
Then we have a slightly different we get the training with the shield, and he's like, "I'm going to do it. I'm going to be Cap," and he's like,
"I know. I think that there's another scene that happens
where it's him and Bucky doing their shield shit."
There's another scene.
Okay.
In between, they cut from them fixing the boat to John Walker talking to Lamar's parents and their sister.
Oh yeah.
And he lies and says that because he knows he didn't kill the guy. Man. Yeah, he killed the man.
He knows it was Carly that did it.
Yeah, but now he lied to the mother and said, "Oh, thank you. At least my boy's killer is, like, dead as well." And it's like, God, lady, you're
then
Christian,
on the way
aren't
back,
you?
On the way back from that, he walks past a sign for Cap is back, the propaganda poster.
Yeah. Not for long. Didn't have a long career. Did you see? But like,
really.
Lamar's sister was like in the background the whole time, like looking at him, like, you lying piece of shit. You didn't do that. Yeah. And then we got like him being like becoming more radicalized and stuff and getting upset. So.
Yep, he got real pissed off about it. And then yeah, we do the two of them doing the shield together, and like Bucky is like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize," or whatever.
Yeah, I wrote here, right-wing Twitter is off the shits over a white man apologizing to a black man. Obviously, I didn't actually go and look that up. I just know I don't want to talk about. Usually
right-wing Twitter is like, "What do you mean? This show's not about race."
No, but they're like, it's not about race, and then a white dude says, "I'm sorry for not considering that you're black," and then they go, "Oh, fucking woke Disney."
Disney woke.
Yeah. And,
instead of the fact that like, oh yeah, I could see how this was a bad thing. Maybe I was pressuring you to do. And then Sam's like, "Hey, therapy."
Yeah. They do some therapy stuff. I wrote, "Why would you practice facing the house? What if you missed?"
And then we did get more of that. Like, then Bucky leaves, and then we get more of the practice, but as a montage.
It's like the training montage where he's like running and working out. And I wrote, Anthony Mackie got to get on that boiled chicken and steamed broccoli diet now.
Yep.
Because he's gonna be, because I think him. Well, like obviously, when he was Cap, he would still use the Falcon suit.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're just going to drop that for him. Maybe give him his little booster pack and like the little things he has on his feet as well that also seem to give him a little boost because he does use on like activate one, do a stronger kick.
I think he's going to get the Falcon suit back. I think in the package is not only the suit but the Falcon wings as well.
But it's like the Captain America-ified version of his suit.
Yeah, where it's got the big star and it's mostly white.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they might go with a different direction to be like that, so that they have a use to bring in the other guy to be as the Falcon. Because if people just argue, be like, "What's the point of having two Falcons?" It's like because
that's how it was in the comics.
I know, but the comics like to have like 1,000 characters that can all do the same thing.
Yeah, and also like
but the movie I think wants to
the difference between him and Torres is that Torres was like genetically modified human.
Yeah, Falcon. And also hybrid. We don't know who the power broker is. So,
yeah, I don't think. I'm gonna be honest. Based on like a scene, I either think that Sharon is the power broker, or at the very least, she's like working for him. Like
she works for Power Broker Inc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So moving forward, we do get a scene with Sharon Carter calling Batroc. Somebody was like, if you had the subtitles on, you'd learn who this was before the later scene. And I'm like, no, I figured it out because he's speaking fucking French.
Yeah.
And he's the only character that speaks French on this show.
Yeah, and he should really only speak French. Because there's something about Georges St. Pierre. When he speaks English, I was like, this sounds like a nice man now. But when he's speaking French, I'm like, oh, fuck me up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he joins, and then he's like, I'm not here to be part of your thing. I just want to kill the Falcon because he fucked me up once.
Twice. Well, once, yeah.
Whatever. Well, yeah, because Cap fucked him up.
Cap fucked him up the first
time. And then Falcon fucked him up.
But it wasn't really Cap that fucked him up. It was the whole thing where Nick Fury hired him to do...
Well, he still lost the fight.
Yeah, he lost the fight.
Yeah, so then he like joins up with them with this purpose of killing Sam. And then we cut to a bunch of old white people. Not just white people. There's like a brown woman there. A bunch of different people of differing ages and backgrounds. But they're behaving like old white men. Where they're all just bickering and being like, why can't we just put martial law and throw these refugees in the trash? And then like one woman is like,
oh, sorry.
Because
you mean that scene. Yes, that scene full of mostly white people. Yes.
I swear that it's like the flag smashers in the park and then it cuts to this next scene.
Oh, yeah, we didn't, where they're like, yeah, fuck refugees, am I right, fellas?
Yeah, what's the point? They're not rich. We don't
care
for them.
I was like, okay, so a TV show, you know that I'm supposed to be cheering for these people to not die because the flag smashers are the bad guys. Yeah. And you've given me more than enough reason to do the opposite.
You keep being like, hey, the Flag Smashers are evil because they killed those people that one time. All right,
And
what
it's like
else do they do? They steal supplies for the fucking poor and like displaced people, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay.
And then,
so the
and
only
then now
bad
they're
thing they've
going
done is murder. Like,
and now they're
people.
going to just murder all these government officials. Oh, that sounds bad.
I don't think
yeah,
it's going to be murder. I think it's going to be like a hostage situation to try and like change. Because if you just kill them, then they just get replaced, or you know, they might just kill them as.
But
like
even let's say they do murder them,
not thinking forward
like,
sort of thing.
Like let's say they do murder them. You've just given me a scene showing that these people who sit behind a desk are responsible for far more deaths than the Flag Smashers, because all their sit behind the desk bullshit has led to the deaths of many. Like, they're like, oh well, we should just deport all these people, and it's like, oh yeah, that's reasonable.
It's just like they were villains, and then when the security guards like did the one world, one people thing, I was just like, oh okay, so you're also trying to like push line, like make this feel like a Hail Hydra thing.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like you're also just trying to say they're like these people who just want like everyone to be on equal footing and have equality throughout the world and not have like you based up like not.
I mean, they just that was their signal.
You're a citizen of the world, not a citizen of the country. Shit, and then they're like, haha, they're just like the Nazis.
Yeah.
Like, it's dumb.
Yeah. So. We've got Bucky figures out that that's where they're going. Or not Bucky, fucking other guy, Sam. Sam figures out that that's where they're going to go.
He opens
up
the
we're
box.
Gonna go to New York. We don't see what's in the box, but it's almost certainly a Captain America costume and new wings.
Along with like some probably repaired wings. And I just wrote, what's in the fucking box? As like it's from 7.
As a bit, yeah.
Yeah. And then, end of the episode. But
there's a post credits, and post credits. John Walker is Iron Manning himself a fucking lame ass shield that's gonna get broken in 2 hits.
I fucking wrote that too. I wrote this. That steel shield's gonna get folded so hard. Like Bucky can literally already like bend metal with one hand. He's just gonna punch it once and it's out.
So yeah, my prediction, I guess, is that it's gonna be revealed that Sharon Carter is the power broker or is working for him, and then we're gonna get like a new actor to play the power broker, or somebody we've already seen. Could be one, could be the other. Maybe
who
it's gonna
else
be
could
Thunderbolt
work for the power broker? I know she doesn't in the comics, but Madam Hydra.
Oh yeah, have that be her as well.
Because I was looking at her thing. I'm trying to find the one. What's her name? Countess something?
Yeah.
Countess Allegra Fontaine.
Mm-hmm.
Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
Yep.
Fuck, give me the Marvel
Her
fandom.
bit is that she pretends to be Italian, but she's actually Russian.
Yeah.
That's why probably she's going to be showing up in the Black Widow movie.
Yeah, so one of her aliases is Agent 14. And Sharon Carter's Agent 13. So maybe they're going to do something. Was she? Yeah, she was Agent 13 by because she was a S.H.I.E.L.D. thing, right?
She was a S.H.I.E.L.D. Agent 14. She was in love with, she was in a relationship with Nick Fury, but then betrayed him because she was actually from Hydra, Madam Hydra.
Yeah.
Be weird to think of Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Samuel L. Jackson in a relationship. That's a weird vibe. Like,
it's a hot couple.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's just an odd couple. I'm like, I don't see it.
Yeah, so maybe those people are gonna have like they definitely work together and shit. So.
But yeah, next week's the last one, and then we'll have no Marvel content.
Hour-and-a-half episode or some shit.
I don't know if it'll be a full hour and a half. I think it'll be maybe a bit longer. I think what's going to happen is they're going to team up with John Walker.
Yeah, I think they're going to try to, and then or like they'll have like a part where they're like fighting side by side, and then he's probably going to turn her. They're probably going to like have Carly down, and then Sam's like, "Cool, we can arrest her now," and John's going to try and kill her, and it's like, "All right, now we got to fight John again."
And this time it'll be even easier because his arm's fucked up and he has a shit shield.
Yeah,
and also we're more confident because we've decided to actually be friends.
Yeah, Bucky and Sam.
And Sam.
Not friends, co-workers.
Yeah, partners.
We have a mutual friend.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
it's a good bit.
And
I'd
the
like
way
to
it's
see
like
them.
leaving instead of like, because in the trailer it looked like they were just arguing and be like, we don't work together. Fuck you. But it's like, oh
Yeah.
no, they're just chilling.
Yeah.
Fucking okay. I just found something that we could. It's from some news source that says, "Relief: Monster Hunter Rise includes a dossier of each monster's problematic behavior, so you don't feel bad when you kill them." Yeah,
That's funny. Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening and or watching this podcast. In case you don't know, there are video episodes of this podcast that go up on the same day. That's Mondays, every Monday on YouTube at youtube.com/N8SComedy.
Yeah.
They go up, I think, a couple hours later than the audio versions, and I do that just so that I have time in case the video versions fuck up. On top of that, you can follow me if you want at the media hole on Twitter, at the media hole on TikTok, twitch.tv/the media hole, and of course my Tumblr, www.whenyourballs.get-stuck-to-your-legs.tumblr.com.
Yeah.
And if you want to follow Ian, you can go ahead and follow him at StrugglesV on practically everything. Ian recently came under fire for implying that Canada should open everything up and let the poor people die of COVID.
I already said one earlier that you could have got me, where I said right-wing Twitter off the shits for a black man getting an apology.
I didn't want to do that. I don't know, man. I have to.
You like it better when I support the police state and not like actual racism.
I like it. I don't like to say that like you tweeted something like actively super fucking racist. I like to say that you tweeted something stupid.
Yeah.
Like.
Anyways, I'm gonna go to Wendy's and hopefully they pull me over and I have to pay $750 because I'm hungry and I don't have any food in my house.
More like Wendy's nuts hit your fucking tongue.
Yeah, please, police officers, just teabag my mouth.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.